It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome into Sports Time, a Tuesday, February 21st edition. Also, Mardi Gras edition as Jay Morgan Harder has all of his Mardi Gras gear on. Jay, are those beads heavy?
Nah, they're all right. Got a good workout in, you know. They're doing well. I got some boots and some crawfish. And
You got a whole bunch of everything.
I got everything, every color, everything. Fat Tuesday.
That's right. Well, that's good. I guess you can see that if you want to watch us live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You can get a look at Jay Morgan and all his Mardi Gras attire. But Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, and Jay Morgan with you. Brett, all the way over in Arkansas. How are you on this Mardi Gras Fat Tuesday?
Doing well, man, and Jay Morgan really does look festive. He's ready to go, and that day it has arrived, and boy, it'll be a lot of headaches tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, it will.
People not feeling well. I've never been to Mardi Gras. I've got a crew, CREW, and they're part of a crew, KREWE, in New Orleans. They were there basically Thursday, Friday through yesterday. And they're all in and around my age, and they're paying for it today, having to get back to the grind and get back to the work, and realizing that they're not even 40 anymore, much less 20 or 30. And I think they're paying the price, but they had a big time. I've never been. Have you ever been?
I've never been. Never done any real Mardi Gras anything. So
Jay Morgan, you ever been?
I've never been either. My folks have gone. My aunt and uncle are down there right now. They've been down there for 2 weeks. My cousins are down there, been down there for 2 weeks. And
wow.
I'd like to go sometime, but I also think I don't have the stamina of the people that usually go down there.
Your uncle can handle it. He's probably at the head of the grand float.
He had a beautiful costume on today. He's had a different costume every day.
I would be so disappointed if he didn't. I mean, if he just rolled out in just regular, blue button-down khakis for today. Well, I don't know if he owns that. I don't know if he ever has that.
No, he's got a great costume today. He and my aunt, they're dressed in some of those inflatable. They're in like an inflatable white suit, and on it has in parentheses "not a," and underneath it says "spy balloon." So they're dressed like the big white spy balloons that were shot down. So there you go.
Well, let's hope they don't get shot down.
That's right.
That would be too bad. We're at our Family Leisure Studios where we are every day, all the time, wherever we are, every show, always from our Family Leisure Studios. You can visit Family Leisure just north of I-40 at 2120 Witten Road with a floor model sale. It's been extended and getting ready for the great spring sales, all at Family Leisure where family and fun come together. And Brian, today, I don't follow many, so I hadn't gotten the news. I know we were waiting today to find out about Memphis in May news of where, and is it up for grabs if?
I haven't seen anything about it, but I haven't really been looking. So it might be something that comes out later or might have already come out. If you know anything, I guess, and you're listening, let us know, 901-360-8255. Because, no, I have no idea.
I don't either, and well past my years of going, but I want us to have it, and I want it to thrive, and I want it to do well. And I know it's not sports, but we don't want to start losing things.
Oh, absolutely.
And while in this time of year, I guess it was more toward last week when it would have been wheelhouse days for back in the days of the tennis tournament. I always think back to that. I don't want to overdo it. I was not a gigantic tennis fan. I didn't really love us being out there because I don't know the sport. I literally don't know how to keep score. And it was like going out there and learning a foreign language for me every year. But so many did enjoy it, and it was so good for our town. Look, everybody doesn't like the things I like, and I understand that. But I don't want us to start losing things, and I was scared when we lost the tennis tournament. And if we ever get in jeopardy of losing Memphis in May, Music Fest more than the entire Memphis in May thing, but I think Music Fest, I don't want to start losing things because it makes it easier the next time to lose something, and at some point it gets down to something you don't want to lose. And that's why I want us to continue to have fun and frivolity, whether it's sports or otherwise.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think this year could be it looks like at least Beale Street Music Fest released a couple hours ago that the 2023 lineup drops next Monday. So that is little bit of an update of that. I think a lot of it this year.
Location, anything?
I think they're back down.
I know
downtown.
Barbecue Fest is back at Tomley Park. Isn't that the name of the
Good.
park?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that all the festivities are back to their usual location.
The music festival is also going to be back down there.
And I've never been to Barbecue Festival, but I know so many that enjoy it and participate and come from around the world to it. I just never have. Kind of for years in the prime going years, that was always right around a big golf tournament I would play in, and so I never got used to going. And now that I don't play in any golf tournaments, don't play much golf, never play 18 holes ever. I'm playing the front three and the back three now, practically. Don't laugh. It's about down to that. Maybe front four and back four if it's really going well. And that back four is after about a 2.5, 3 hour lunch and maybe even a nap in there before finishing up the back 3 or 4. So I was never in that. And I hadn't been to Music Fest. I probably 99, 2000.
Wow.
I don't know that I've been in the 21st century, but I know a lot of people enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it. It wasn't my big thing. I was not that much of a festival goer, although I've been once was a designated driver for a crew I drove them to Lollapalooza. Yes, can you believe that, Bryant?
I cannot believe that, actually.
Can you see me shaking it up at Lollapalooza?
That's in Chicago,
not
right?
Really.
No, we went to
I think we looked this up. I think it was, what was it, down in
Atlanta
Atlanta?
suburbs, wasn't it?
Yeah. They've moved around because I remember having this conversation.
We
year.
had, and Gabe couldn't believe it. He
I
couldn't
can't believe it either. Still, after we already had this conversation.
Brett, I'm surprised you don't.
And sober.
Yeah,
I was the driver.
Brett, you would love Barbecue Fest. I've never seen a vegetable within 5 miles of Barbecue Fest. All
beautiful.
it is there's some delicious
Sounds
pork
like my type of
in
party.
every way you
Rib,
can consume
shoulder.
it. Oh, you name it, it's delicious.
Well, anything with it. That's the festival I want to have, the anti-vegetable
That's
festival.
right.
Ooh,
Well,
sign me
Barbecue
up.
Fest is on its way there, I think.
Sign me up. I do think a lot of it probably is because they had to move everything last year to the Liberty Bowl and kind of around that area. So I think that might be what's delaying it a little
And
bit.
all the construction down Riverside Drive. I did see on the news early this morning that Riverside Drive is shut now to July 1st.
Oh, wow. Wow. They've been
Which
working on
tell
that
me
for
the
a
last time I
while.
drove down Riverside Drive, too.
I can't tell you any time I've driven down Riverside Drive.
And the last time I did, I got mad over all the speed bumps.
They-
I was about to lose an axle over it.
Speed bump every 10 feet down there.
I live in Collierville. I go down Wolf River
There you
Side
go.
Drive, but not the one downtown.
No, but I'm glad that is set. I told Jay Morgan before we started today, Brian, I don't want to lose my mind over this, but you, Brian, I think you can attest, and listeners can attest, that I have been uncomfortable, to say the least, with this story from the beginning, and not just the original act, but also the reaction. And today, Nate Oates, in the most tone-deaf, really dumb response of one of all time. And Alabama fans, don't get mad at me. I would say this if it was old. Fill in the blank. Anybody in the SEC, anybody in college sports, I would say this about. I would say it about the Tigers. I would say it about anybody. So don't think I'm picking on you. And I'm well aware that it could be anywhere tomorrow. This story could have been any place, but this time it wasn't. It was on the bucolic campus of Alabama at the Capstone, just off the strip where all this occurred, where a murder took place. And now we know at least 3 players somewhat involved. And Nate Oates throughout this has talked about it with almost the cavalier nature of a strained quad or somebody missed late for a team meeting. I don't know how Nate Oates and Greg Byrne have jobs today, Brian.
It is. I was shocked when I saw the story AL.com published today about the involvement now of Brandon Miller, their best player, star freshman.
Top 5 pick.
Top 5 pick, because I thought we were kind of done with this whole situation. I mean, it seemed like we knew everything about it.
We kind of had moved on.
We had. I mean, I remember, what was it, 2 or 3 weeks ago, we kind of
From
re-brought
a
it
murder,
up.
we had moved on.
And kind of just the whole, obviously I don't think Nate Oates thought that he was going to be asked about it today. I don't know if he really knew, watching kind of the interview and the questioning of it.
Well, there's been new court proceedings.
Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if he was really prepared today to talk to reporters about it when it was asked, but he just seemed super uncomfortable about it. And then obviously what he said, just kind of wrong place, wrong time. I mean, like you said, we're talking about a murder here. We're not talking about, an injury or just hey, he was there.
We're not talking about a laptop being stolen.
Exactly. I was just about to say, we're not talking about a robbery or anything. We're talking about somebody losing their life. It is insane.
We're not talking about somebody hadn't turned in a book on time at the library.
Yeah,
is that a Cam Newton reference you just dropped there,
was.
Brett?
It kind of.
It was.
But the whole cavalier nature. First and foremost, the most important and the most grieving we should do for anybody is the decedent and her and the family. Of course we know that, and we do, and we have. But I've also brought up this, Bryant, and it has made me uncomfortable. I don't know that they have, but I think somewhere we would hear a story. Has anybody, any booster, any fan, any athletics department person, any basketball related person gone and visited the accused in jail? Because we know this. I mean, Jay Morgan, you know it, and I think most people in our listening audience know that football and basketball players, scholarship athletes, are very, very well treated. They were very, very, very well treated before NIL. In fact, they've been very, very well treated throughout the history of college sports. And that doesn't bother me. That's fine, too. But we know there's welcoming committees to towns that have, whether it's sheets or towels or stocking refrigerators or making furniture, making them feel comfortable with the move-in. Where's that person now? And if he had been averaging 10, 7, and 2, there'd be a lot more of it.
Completely different story if he was even a starter on the team, even a reserve that's giving good minutes. I mean, it's a different story. But I did think it was interesting when Nate Oates was talking about it this afternoon in his press conference. I thought that's what he was going to say. He started kind of talking about the whole situation, and I thought he was going to say, we go by and visit him or whatever. And all he said was, we stopped practice after the story came out today and just kind of, made sure all the guys were all right and talked to the guys about the new information. They prayed. And so I thought he was going to go down we're really supporting, everyone involved in this. We're checking in on them, making sure they're doing all right. But he didn't. It was just kind of let's get done with this and move on to the next game.
We got our first national championship ever to win. It has felt like that from the beginning about this. Don't get in the way of our first Final Four run and potentially our first national champion. I'm going to make a bold prediction right now. Heads are getting ready to roll at Bama. I will be surprised if their dream season ends up that way. The torrent of bad publicity that's getting ready to come out about this, and I will say it at some point there. Make sure it doesn't get to football.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, I think a lot of people have been wondering what's gonna happen with Brandon Miller after this. Doesn't seem like anything. It sounds like they're just gonna keep on going forward, but it'll be interesting to just kind of keep an eye on everything, especially with their game tomorrow night against South Carolina.
Yeah, and it just a heartbreaking story, and I think we should, and I will as best I can when I get the availability to them, start asking all these coaches, what are your gun policies?
Yeah.
I know it's a right to own a gun in the United States, but also know inside a team, they can set other rules.
Oh, yeah.
No guns. You can't have one on campus, off campus, in your car, on your person. I don't care. Zero. We've got to start asking all these coaches, football and basketball alike, in every conference, near and far, covering it all, what's your policy on this?
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right.
Well,
I mean,
it's hard to hold it against Nate Oates too. I mean, you're right, Brett. That is more than understandable policy to have for a college sports program, especially one at the highest level with all this money at stake and all these other factors. But Nate Oates also has just fumbled the opportunity to make a stance like that afterwards and say this is a terrible look for our program. He's like trying to explain everything away. Especially,
he's making excuses.
Well, especially today with Brandon Miller, we learned that he was the one that supplied the gun to the guy, and he goes, well, it's just, just the wrong place at the wrong time.
We can't really control college.
You can't control college. What are you talking about? Like, you just fumbled the situation so bad. Bringing in Ray Lewis to talk to the team, it's just such an unfortunate situation, and one that I don't think Nate Oates has handled well.
We're not talking about somebody stealing a test.
No. That's right.
No. We're talking about a lost life.
College kids are going to be college kids. What does that mean? A guy was murdered, for goodness sakes.
Yeah. And this story is not going away. It will metastasize. This time tomorrow, you're not going to be able to recognize this story.
No, not at all. So we'll definitely talk more about that as we get more information, as things kind of roll on in that. But let me set up today's show before we get into top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Dave Woloshin, the voice of the Tigers, is going to join us to talk about the game against Houston and what's next for the Tigers and Kendrick Davis's injury. At 3:45, we'll talk about the Tigers football schedule that was released today. We'll get into some things that caught our eye on that reveal, and with the new teams coming in, who the Tigers will face and when they'll face those teams this season. 4 o'clock, Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville will join us. I'm sure we'll talk to him about this situation with college basketball and college football. 4:30, we'll dive into some college basketball. 4:45, we'll do big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Beau Marchant will join us to talk about the NFL offseason, as there's a lot of things going on there. At 5:30, we'll do What's Trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap it up like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Brian, I know last night following Jason Munz's Twitter account and his tweets from it, the news from it, I know that Coach Penny Hardaway was very aggravated over the announcer. I don't know if it was the play-by-play or the analyst. I'm sorry, I didn't notice it, but it seemed like Coach Hardaway at least put off by references to DeAndre Williams' age.
Yeah.
Now, I think the only time we have referenced it, and the only thing that we would get close to maybe picking at it, is when we've said he decided this year to go out and get some experienced players, and I've said, and play old man basketball.
Yeah.
I probably should have said old men, because I was meaning like
multiple,
experience.
everyone, yes.
I don't think we have poked at his age a single time. I don't care. I mean, look, and Coach Hardaway said that he had been told that Stetson Bennett's 25 and you hardly know it. Now, I must respectfully disagree with that, because that was a central theme. If of the two people, if I've been guilty of picking on either Stetson Bennett or DeAndre Williams more, and Stetson Bennett's 2 years younger than DeAndre Williams, it has been that. I made the point that he was the scout team quarterback, mimicking, playing, acting like he was Baker Mayfield back when Georgia played them.
Yeah.
4 years ago
Feels
now.
like forever ago.
Feels like forever ago. And then his saga at junior college and other places. So I don't get that. I don't think anybody has mistreated one more than the other or lessened on either. But I don't know how germane or necessary it is to mention it every single game. Did you notice the what was it, play-by-play or analyst? Is the accusatory?
I think it was a culmination of how many different people have said it. I
think so too.
Is what. So it wasn't just one in particular. It was that
kind of the whole season. It seems like it's brought up every time they play on television.
Now, when Chris Winkie won the Heisman Trophy, it was in every story about him. It was with Brandon Whedon a few years ago. So Coach is not. I mean, maybe he doesn't know all that. I understand that he's living his life and coaching his team, but I don't think it's unique to DeAndre Williams. Do y'all?
I don't think so. I mean, I also look. I haven't noticed it much just because I kind of block out the the announcing crew, and when I'm watching the games, a lot of times I'll watch them without any sound on. But I do think it's a big story just because it's all relevant because of the COVID years, and now players are in college longer because of this COVID year. So I think it's relevant. I can see where Tiger fans or Penny or maybe DeAndre himself is kind of aggravated by it, but you got to think, I mean, when you're playing Houston, when you're playing Auburn, when you're playing these teams, they don't know that DeAndre is 26 years old, and that's kind of an interesting nugget about him and about this team, so it doesn't bother me at all. I think it's kind of interesting from an opposing team's standpoint to kind of find that out.
Jay Morgan, are you exercised by any of this? Does it irritate you? What?
It doesn't irritate me at all. You mentioned Brandon Weeden, and I remember that covered a lot more extensively because that year ESPN did a documentary series about Oklahoma State headed into the season, and you saw Brandon Weeden in his house with his wife that had a full-time job. They were sitting down to family dinner. I don't remember if they had a child at the time or not. So I don't think this is independent to DeAndre Williams.
No.
I think what happened? Someone said something to DeAndre during the game. DeAndre's quite frankly, a little bit of a hothead. You saw him get upset about it, and Penny made mention of it in a press conference.
Austin Awney at North Texas. He's 29 years old.
I don't think it's out of bounds.
All season.
I don't think it's out of bounds to mention it, to be quite frank. But I understand why Penny would be upset. Coach Penny would be upset about it, too.
Sure.
But certainly not harp on it. And I haven't gotten that. If you've gotten that this year, Tiger fans, text us, call us at 901-360-8255. I'd like to know of your irritation of it or not. I don't think it's a big story, but obviously Coach Hardaway was irritated about it last night. This hour of our show brought to you every day by our title sponsor of this hour. That's the one and only Lexus dealership in town. That's Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2023 models and always special leasing options. Driving luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2023 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
My top story of the day is the story that we were talking about a little earlier, kind of the biggest story of the day when it was published about an hour ago about Brandon Miller's involvement in this Darius Miles case. I think we all thought when the original story came out that Darius Miles was the one that provided the gun for the shooting and the murder of Jamia Jonee Harris. But now it seems like we're learning that it was actually Brandon Miller who brought the gun to give to Darius Miles, who gave it to the shooter. So it's definitely a terrible story. I mean, like we talked about earlier, we're talking about a woman that lost her life, a mother that lost her life. There's now a child that won't have
Just
his or her, I don't know if it's a son or a daughter, won't have their mother for the rest of their life. It's a terrible story. As you read the story, it sounds like Brandon Miller and another teammate were blocking the car in, and that Brandon Miller's car actually was shot in the shooting. So it's a terrible look. It's a terrible story. I think a lot of people's first question was, why is it now that we're learning this? Obviously, investigations take some time. They have to kind of figure out everything before they can just label these things. But it's not a good look for Brandon Miller, and I think what Nate Oates said today was irresponsible. I think it was just a really bad look for him and for that program. And I'll be interested to see what happens going forward. Obviously, everyone has said that Brandon Miller will not be charged with anything, so I assume he'll continue to play. It didn't sound like Nate Oates was going to sit him or suspend him or anything. That could change as the story becomes bigger, but you're definitely going to hear a lot more of this once draft comes around and a lot of these scouts are doing their interviews and kind of digging into who and what Brandon Miller is when it comes to picking him with their pick in the first round of the draft.
My top story, all the bracketologies, they're all out there and all have pretty much the good news about the Tigers, mostly seeding 8 to 11 range, but in pretty firmly in right now. There's even an at large with a loss at Wichita State. Yeah, I think the Tigers could take one more, and that's that or at home against Houston would be the likely ones. I wouldn't chance it though. Win 4 straight, get to Sunday in Fort Worth, And then I think an 8 seed is there, 8 or 9, same difference, pre-med, pre-law. Win 4 straight, win the AAC, and maybe, just maybe a 7 is there. 4 and 5 are out. We know that, no matter what. But could a 6 even be there? Could a 6 be there? Because we know the attrition. We know teams are going to rack up losses. We know the time of the year. We know the pressure these games are played in.
Not top story of the day.
My not top story of the day was what I learned yesterday is that the USFL had their first collegiate draft today of the Memphis Showboats.
Mike Rozier, drafted number 1, from Nebraska, Heisman Trophy winner.
No. I don't remember who
Doug
was
Flutie?
drafted. No, Doug Flutie not drafted
Steve Young?
number 1. Steve Young not drafted
Eric
at all.
Dickerson.
You know what? Maybe I just missed these names in the draft because I didn't hear any of them.
I remember this draft.
No, you're remembering a different USFL draft. This one was a little different, but the Memphis Showboats' first pick, Mason Brooks, an offensive tackle from Ole Miss.
I know Mason
You
Brooks
know
always
Mason
wore a
Brooks?
big 10-gallon.
Really? So
Yeah.
he's going to be a showboat if he decides. I learned we had a lot of questions about the draft yesterday. I learned that what this draft is it is just saying that these USFL teams hold those players' rights if they ever decide to play in the
Gotcha.
USFL. So Mason Brooks could go play in the NFL, get drafted or picked up, do some time in the NFL, and then if he ever decides to go to the USFL, he'll be a Memphis Showboat.
Here's my thumbnail on Mason Brooks. Here's my best Mel Kiper. Don't know what he is. I don't know if he's a guard, if he's a center. He kind of bounced around. I don't know what he is. Maybe they'll figure it out. My not top story, Tiger football schedule out. All 14 teams in the revamped 14-team AAC. All the schedules are out, and it's utterly blasé. For the Tigers, look, where's Ole Miss? Where's Tennessee? Where's Mississippi State? I know Arkansas and at least Mississippi State are on the way in the future, and I know Ole Miss and Tennessee aren't playing ball, and there is much to blame as anyone about not playing, maybe more so than anyone. But how did it get like this? How did the local scheduling get like this? Only 6 home games next year. Navy, Boise State, Tulane, USF, SMU. Good luck with season ticket sales.
Yeah, it's gonna be a struggle to get people committed to being out there every Saturday. But let's get to a break. That'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's get to a break. When we come back, Dave Lotion, the voice of the Tigers, will join us to talk about this schedule release and what the Tigers have done in basketball. That's next on Sports Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Let's say you need a new car, so you go to a dealer, right? Wrong. You need to go to Mount Moriah Auto Sales. Why? Because why limit yourself to just one kind of car when you can choose from all kinds of cars, SUVs, and trucks? All different years, all different makes, all different models. Really good prices, too. Now, everyone says that about the money, but Mount Moriah Auto Sales proves it. They work hard to get you the deal you want, even financing. Plus, they have a huge full-service department to help you take care of your car. So many choices at Mount Moriah Auto Sales. They're almost unlimited, with new vehicles coming in every day. Now, these are really good cars and trucks and SUVs that you'll want to drive. And yes, low miles too. It's so easy. Just go to Mount Moriah Auto Sales, tell them what you want, but keep your eyes open because you might just find the car of your dreams. Mount Moriah Auto Sales makes it all possible. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner, right on the price, right on Mount Moriah.
Getaway Sports Bar, the best kept secret in town, open noon to 1:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 10 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town, grab you a pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long neck domestics, $2.25. Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-585-8282. 800-585-8282. That's 800-585-8282.
Hey, Zeke, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great. Look, I just started the Central Barbecue Diet.
Haven't heard of it.
Well, then, I tell you what. You just sit down right there, and I will tell you everything that you need to know about the Central Barbecue Diet.
Eating Central Barbecue exclusively has not been shown in clinical studies to reduce weight. Eating a diet of exclusively Central Barbecue has not been proven to make you more popular, attractive, and intelligent, although it almost certainly would. Plus, you know what? Who am I to tell you how to live your life? Do what you want. Take up golf. Get a puppy. Learn to crochet. Eat Central Barbecue 3 meals a day. It's your life. Don't let some disclaimer guy on a Central Barbecue commercial tell you what to do. You're a person. Live your life. Eat barbecue.
Both 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte LXS, PE 581,756, MSRP 21,985, Sorrento PG 183,422, MSRP 23,405. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/23 with approved credit. Dealer stock only. Warranties are limited. Powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Jeff, my man, what's going on over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah? Look, I know you got something up your sleeve to blow me away.
You bet I do, Randy. Gas prices are high, but we've got you covered with 41 MPG Highway in your new 2023 Kia Forte LXS at $278 a month. $27.99 due at signing, and a 7-passenger SUV ready to ride in a 2023 Kia Sorrento LX $378 a month. $34.99 due at signing. Both 36-month lease.
Plus peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. And if I don't see exactly what I want,
I'll order it for you, and you won't pay over MSRP. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan-Harder with you, and now joining us to talk all things Tigers, the voice of the Tigers. You can also catch him every morning on Willow and Friends. Dave Woloshin joins us now. Dave, thanks for joining us. And it was a tough loss on the road against Houston, but the Tigers really fought hard without Kendrick Davis on the court. What did you think about that battle and kind of the tale of two halves coming out and looking way more competitive in the second half?
I thought the team really got a lot of confidence out of that particular ball game, and because of the second half. If you go back and you look at the second half against UCF, that's the first time all year they're really playing without Kendrick Davis, they score 20 points. If you go back to the first half of the Houston game, no KD, they scored 21 points. So we got 40 minutes of basketball without Kendrick Davis. The Tigers score all of 41 points and turn the ball over 30 times. Now they get used to not playing with them. It took a while. And against the number 2 team, now number 1 team in the nation, they score 43 points in the second half, only turn it over 4 times, have 6 assists, out-rebound the Cougars. They learned how to play without KD. Not to say you don't want him back, but the point is, if he goes down again, they understand how they can play. And McCadden is going to be a guy they're going to count especially highly on because he had 20 points in the second half alone against Houston. He is starting to be the guy that Penny recruited.
Dave, I said yesterday, I think you'll echo it. Last week, the Tigers go 1-1. They played 3 or 4 halves without the back-to-back player of the year in the AAC. I think that's a pretty good week.
I think it's excellent. They had nothing to lose in this game. I really think if the NCAA tournament was on the line, somehow, some way, KD would have played. I don't know if he's going to play Thursday. He might not. But I watched him. He came out. Now it was purely to decoy.
Mm-hmm.
Because, truth be known, and Brett knows this, Bryant, you may know this, I go literally 2 hours before the game, anywhere from 2 hours to an hour and a half before the game, depending on when Penny comes. And we do his pregame show. He let me know in that pregame show that it was very unlikely, although it was a coach's decision, but very unlikely that Kendrick Davis was going to play against Houston. And then 20 minutes after we take that, here comes AD out to shoot around. And I'm watching him, and, he doesn't look 100%, but he's trying to hit threes, and he's moving around. So I think if he really had to play, they might have played him. But he wanted to deke him out, which they did. I don't think it really changed anything. And, so I'm of the opinion there's a good chance he'll play Thursday at Wichita. If he doesn't, I'll bet he plays Sunday against Cincinnati.
Thursday at Wichita State. Well, back to the old valley. These two, Wichita State at times this year, I thought they were getting better, and then they kind of recede. But Thursday night, even with a loss Thursday night, Dave, if the Tigers were to lose there, I still think winning against Cincinnati, at SMU, against Houston, and getting to the finals, almost like last year, except last year they had swept Houston. I still don't think Thursday night is as fatal as a lot of people pretty firmly in the bracket right now, according to most.
Yeah, it appears to be that way. I don't want to leave anything for chance. I think they could beat Houston the next time they play them. I think they learned they could beat Houston, and you're going to have KD back. So I like our chances in that game. I'm not sure they got an answer for Robertson's side unless Malcolm Dandridge, loses some of the rust and gets in a little bit better physical condition. It's 2 weeks. He could be a factor against that big guy if indeed he can come back. I like their chances there. This is a weird thing. I've been talking for weeks now about how hard it is to play at Koch Arena. And I'll say this, they've won a couple in a row. They've won 3 of their last 4. But on the year in Koch Arena, they're 7-7. In conference games, they're only 2-5. So they're not quite as tough in Koch Arena as they have been in the past. But, now they're playing. I think they're playing for the NIT. They're 14-7, 14-12. They've got something to play for now.
Yeah. And with going back to that game against Houston, I guess kind of a two-part question. How big was it to have Alex Lomax back? I know he played 29 minutes, but kind of to have that ball handler on the court. I think Penny, after the game or maybe yesterday, said that he played too many minutes in that game against Houston. So how many minutes do you think he'll play against Wichita State? Do you think we see kind of less than the 29 minutes we saw against Houston?
You might see less, depending if KD plays, depending on the way the game is going. He was very rusty in that game. He was good defensively. He was shorthanded. I want to remember, I think he had 2 or 3 turnovers, so he wasn't flawless. They may have all been in the first half when he was trying to catch his breath. But you could tell that little floater of his just was not happening because I don't think he could quite get the lift that he's used to getting because of the groin. So he was 0 for 7. I don't think he'll go 0 for 7 again. But I don't think he's 100%. And depending on the way the game goes, I don't think you want to see him play 29 minutes.
No, I don't.
Dave, Sunday afternoon, the Tigers will face Cincinnati, and that could be the last time at FedEx Forum for a while to see the Bearcats as they're off to the Big 12. We'll say goodbye to Houston. Have said goodbye to UCF in one of the wilder Tiger wins I bet you've ever called. Sunday afternoon will be sure want to win and say goodbye to them, but it'll be a little bit bittersweet, won't it?
Well, here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that Penny will continue the series somehow with both Houston and Cincinnati. Honestly, I don't care that much about Central Florida. they've been a nice conference brother, but it's not like that long-lived or steeped in history. Houston and Memphis go back to the 50s. They played in the NCAA tournament. In fact, Phi Slamma Jamma may have robbed the University of Memphis of a couple of Final Fours.
Sure did.
So, but there's history there. I want it to continue. Cincinnati is one of the 3 oldest rivalries Memphis has. I hope that continues. I really hope it's not the last time that we see the Bearcats at FedEx Forum, or for that matter, the Cougars, and that could very well be the last time we play in the new Fertitta Center. I hope that's not the case, that we continue to play those 2 teams.
Yeah, it's with both those, but especially Cincinnati, kind of a program that seems to be on the rise. I'd love to get them in a series in the future. But with Elijah McCadden, we've talked about him the past couple of weeks, but a great game against Houston, led the team with 20 points and 6 rebounds. And he's really improved this year after kind of a slow start to the season, made the honor roll for the AAC this season. How massive is he going to have to be down the stretch and maybe again in that matchup against Houston with the Tigers trying to stay into that NCAA tournament bracket?
Well, if KD plays, he's not going to score 20 points.
No, not at all.
He's not going to get enough touches. I'll tell you that right now. Here's what I like about him. He has been consistent on the defensive side of the floor the whole year long. People always forget there are 2 sides. You got to look at what he does when Memphis plays D, and he's always taking the best perimeter player. So he's done a very consistent job there. I think I may be making this up, but I'm going to say 8 to 10 games ago, he finally realized he could play at this level. I believe that. I think the same thing has now happened to DeMarie Franklin. That UCF win, him stealing the ball and stealing the win, that has freed him. He was putting so much pressure on himself that he wasn't performing. He was a different guy before the game in Houston. You just feel like the weight of the world is off of him. I think he's going to continue to really help Memphis now. And McCadden believes. That's what I asked him on the postgame. I said, what'd you get out of this? He goes, I think we learned that we can play with anybody, anywhere in the country. And that's the beauty of actually not having KD and taking the loss, is that I think that second half made Memphis believe they can play with anybody now.
Dave, that flurry of events at the end of the UCF game, did you have the Jack Buck moment of I can't believe what I just saw? Because I swear, leaving FedEx Forum, I told someone, I said, that was some crazy stuff we just saw, and I didn't say stuff.
It was a lot of stuff. I have not yet heard my call, but my producer, Danny O'Brien, said it was spot on.
Good.
But there was so much happening. You know, the initial loss of the ball is because of Franklin. And I just said that it was scooted along by Jonathan Lawson. But if you look at the replay, it's amazing. I mean, this is crazy. He literally punches the ball with precision right ahead to Franklin. And then Franklin uses his left hand. What people don't know is he's been going to his right the whole year. And Penny has been saying to him, you got to go to your left. You got to learn to go to your left. He worked on it, and that's what beat Hendricks Taylor, going to his left because they were playing him to the right.
Incredible finish. Incredible play all around. But, Dave, before we let you go, I do want to ask about the release of the football schedule today for the Tigers. Yeah. What were your thoughts seeing that this morning?
Well, I think it's a hell of a schedule. You got 6 home games, the best ones against Boise. You got that neutral in St. Louis because Missouri, yes, that, you know, the guys in power can control the rules. And so at least Memphis is getting money out of it. But that'll be an interesting game. And I love going to St. Louis. And I think our fans can go to that game too. So I think we'll probably have decent representation. 6 teams that played in bowls are on the schedule, including Tulane at home. In fact, you got 3 of those bowl teams at home. And then 4 conference road games, 3 of which at UAB, at North Texas, at Charlotte, are all new locations for our fans. And, you know, really, UAB is a real easy drive. North Texas isn't crazy. It's just like going to Dallas. Mm-hmm. Then the last game of the year, that's tough because you got to play in Philly, so it'll be cold there. I like the fact there are no divisions, one full league, 14 teams, two best teams, 1 versus 2, playing the championship game. I think the way this sets up is really, really good for the University of Memphis. If I'm looking at one game or 2 games, I don't love it that Memphis lost a home game to Missouri, but that's just the way of the world. Also, I will never understand why Tom Bowen scheduled so many games with Arkansas State. I believe this is either going to be the second or the third of an 8-game series. And I'm not trying to belittle Arkansas State at all. I really am not. But and Memphis has done okay against them here the last few times. But that is a dangerous team, and it's one of those things. It's like what the SEC teams do to Memphis. Yeah, there's nothing that you can gain out of that W, but everything to lose out of an L. So that's tough. But you got to go to Jonesboro, and sooner or later those guys are going to get Memphis.
Yeah, that's they're getting better over there, that's for sure. But Dave, thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you again next week.
You got it. And Stats, I will talk with you on my show, 10:25 tomorrow.
I can't wait. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks,
sure
Dave.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dave Woloshin, the voice of the Tigers and host of Wolo and Friends that you hear every day on this station from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Dave Woloshin brought to you in part by the commissary, the 2 great locations of the commissary, the new Collierville commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown. You go there with Dave, and you can't keep him out of the barbecue nachos and all the appetizers, and then the entree, and then the dessert, and all the great sweet tea. Boy, you ought to go there with him. That's something to see. But it is fun to be there with anyone. If you have a big group, it's the perfect place together. If a service club, Rotary Club, Kiwanis Club, anything like that, would like to meet there, get together there. Reunion get-togethers there, game-watching parties there, Thursday night to watch the Tigers. It's great at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, Memphis-style barbecue and ribs. The Memphis way, the slow-cooked way. If you're craving an easier way to order, text commissary to 33733. Start with all those appetizers I mentioned. Everybody loves them, like the barbecue nachos invented in the early 80s at the Germantown Commissary by Walker Taylor and his team. The tamales, the cheese plate, the smoked chicken wings, and then dig into the ribs or the shoulder. Chopped or pulled on a sandwich, on a plate, all the sides, deviled egg, slaw bread, and you can even order it by the pound or a 6-pack or an 8-pack or a 12-pack. And the dessert, so good, like the lemon icebox pie, the banana pudding, and that great strawberry cake. Here's the number, 901-754-5540, or go online at commissarybbq.com in Collierville and Germantown. Those party areas, orders to go, catering, tailgating, basketball watching, for any season. The commissary's been there for us since 1981 at the new Collierville commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown.
Well, we just got Dave Woloshin's thoughts on the Tigers football schedule. So let's get to a break. And when we come back, we'll dive into what the schedule is going to look like next year for the Tigers and what we think about it. That's next on Sports Time.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Both 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte LXS, PE 581,756, MSRP 21,985, Sorrento PG 183,422, MSRP 23,405. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/23 with approved credit. Dealer stock only. Warranties are limited. Powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Jeff, my man, what's going on over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah? Look, I know you got something up your sleeve to blow me away.
You bet I do, Randy. Gas prices are high, but we've got you covered with 41 MPG Highway in your new 2023 Kia Forte LXS at $278 a month, $27.99 due at signing, and a 7-passenger SUV ready to ride in a 2023 Kia Sorrento LX, $378 a month, $34.99 due at signing. Both 36-month lease.
Plus peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. And if I don't see exactly what I want,
I'll order it for you, and you won't pay over MSRP. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Brian Elder Roofing, 867-0303. You've known the name for 30 years. You might even remember him from nearly 20 years on Kix 106 as half of the Young and Elder Show. Now, 13 years later, Brian Elder is the largest purchaser of Owens Corning shingles in Memphis. Call him right now, 867-0303. Certified and trained by Owens Corning to earn a reputation for quality and expertise matched by no one. Don't let them tell you it has to be replaced when all it needs is a repair. Call right now, 867-0303. He'll climb every inch of your roof. He'll go into your attic and run a moisture and ventilation test using state-of-the-art equipment to make certain you're protected from mold and other contaminants. You may be causing respiratory problems for your family and not even know it. We're waiting for your call, 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you're looking to get a new car, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive. Sure, you love your old car, but you know it's not normal to give instructions on how to open the window. It should be self-explanatory, but it's not. And notice how when you're in other people's cars, you can feel cushion in the seats? That's pretty nice, right? No, it's just normal. So bundle your renter's and car insurance with Progressive and put the savings toward a new car. It's time. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers.
It may be cold, but the Gossett Mitsubishi Spring Sales Event will heat you up. Discover a new way to ride in your 2023 Mitsubishi Mirage and get 39 MPG combined for $17,520 or $289 a month and zero down. And check out 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport for $29 a month, 29 MPG Highway, or get 2.9 for 36 months. Want peace of mind? We Gossett with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. 2023 Mitsubishi Mirage, $289 per month. 2023 Outlander Sport, $429 per month. You won't go wrong ever when you shop Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com. You want it? We Gossett at Gossett Mitsubishi.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
Garage PHW 2846, MSRP 18020, Sport PUW 2230, MSRP 29545, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/2023. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you. And this morning, the American Athletic Conference released the schedules for every team in the league, including the 6 incoming teams for the 2023 football season. I guess I'll just run through Memphis' schedule real quick, and then we can talk about it. They'll open the season at home against Bethune-Cookman. They'll go on the road to Arkansas State, then at home against Navy. The neutral side, I guess you could call it, game against Missouri, at home against Boise State. A bye week, then Tulane at home, at UAB, at North Texas, at home against USF, at Charlotte, at home against SMU, and then they'll end the season on the road against Temple. I guess we'll start, Brett. What were your thoughts of the Tiger schedule?
Some new faces and some old faces that we haven't seen in a long time, like North Texas. You know, way back to the Valley played. I remember going to North Texas games a long, long time ago. And Dave mentioned the road trip to Arkansas State and the neutral that's really not so neutral, but an opportunity for Tiger fans to make the trip up I-55. I've said enough about that. Laird Veach and the department really got put over the barrel, and as Dave said, big can. And it's really sad that the letter of the contract couldn't have played out in that home game for Memphis against Mizzou's, not at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. But we know what's at stake next year, Brian. I don't want to overdo this, and this is not the time for W's and L's and canny or canny, but we know there's a number out there next year that Ryan Silverfield that he has to get to. What do you think that number is?
I would say, looking at this schedule, 8.
I would even go 7.
Yeah.
But tell me the 5, but 8. I think 8 for sure would put him in good shape on future employment. I think people should mostly be pleased. And first glance at it, I think that is very doable. Now, I say that, and you're going to have a Thursday night game against Navy starting over, moving on from Coach Ken, and on a Friday night against Tulane that I will see earlier that year, real early, week 2. I'll see Tulane at home against Ole Miss, and we know Tulane's returning a lot. Maybe not as much as it had appeared as they were leaving the field that day in their Cotton Bowl win, but still plenty, and most particularly that quarterback. The back end of the schedule, Dave mentioned, that last game of the year, what if that is the game to get over that over number for our future employment, and you're playing at Lincoln Financial Field in front of 80 people and it's 20 degrees.
Oh, yeah, that's not the game I wanted them to put as the
and that
last
one
game
could
of the
get
season.
moved to Friday too,
the
day after Thanksgiving.
So it's an interesting schedule. The biggest thing that jumped out to me, only one weekend with back-to-back home games, I believe, and then
Good take.
Also the fact that there's only 3 Saturday home games, which I don't like seeing at all, because
how do you build momentum?
Exactly. I mean, we talked all last season about the attendance and getting people to the games, and it's going to be very hard to do that when there's only 3 games on that Saturday, the other 2, or the other 3, I guess, being on weeknights. And I think also that back-to-back weekend, now that I'm looking at it, back-to-back home games is separated by a bye week. So it's not even consecutive. There's a bye week in between. So it's just really – the biggest thing, I'll be honest, when looking at it, it was weird to not see Cincinnati or a Houston or an SMU as that last game of the season. That it feels like we're so used to seeing one of those teams. And there's just something you're going to have to get used to. But all in all, I think this is a very favorable schedule for the Tigers. I think putting that number at 8 kind of reflects what the schedule looks like. And I don't know. I guess we'll see what the team looks like.
We will, and we hope the future includes being in a different conference. But for now, this is it.
Yeah, so it'll be I guess we got all off season to come back and look at this schedule, but kind of get it in front of you. You can definitely try to figure out kind of what that number is and what the team will look like when it comes to wins. But let's get to a break, and when we come back, we'll start the 4 o'clock hour with Brent Beard talking some college football and college basketball.
Are you looking to lease a commercial space for your business? Call Stephen Hoffman. Are you a landlord looking to have your space leased? Call Stephen Hoffman. Maybe you're looking to buy or sell commercial real estate. If so, you want a professional broker looking out for your best interest, and that broker is Stephen Hoffman with Myers Commercial Real Estate. Stephen is a Memphis native who knows his market well and only works the commercial side of real estate. He works for a great firm that has been locally owned and operated in Memphis for almost 40 years. Whether representing tenants, landlords, or investors alike, you are sure to get great market analysis, access to on and off market listings, and a tough negotiator on your behalf. Call 901-761-5595 and ask for Stephen Hoffman. You can also find him on the web at MyersCRE.com. That's MyersCRE.com. Stephen Hoffman with Myers Commercial Real Estate. Representing your real estate business is his business. Call Stephen Hoffman.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Has the stock market slumps and instability this year got you concerned? Would you like a way that could protect your retirement when the markets are down? Gold Alliance would like to give you 2 free reports, the Inflation Survival Plan and the Stock Market Correction Plan. Both reveal how to protect your savings in uncertain times. It's absolutely free. Don't wait. Call 800-200-2079. 800-200-2079. 800-200-2079.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone, call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Bobby J is waiting to get your call today and put you in a new Kia from Gossett Kia Covington Pike. Hit the road with 41 MPG Highway for just $278 a month in your new 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $27.99 due at signing. Or rule the road in luxury with 2023 Kia K5 LXS, $337 a month, $31.99 due at signing, both 36-month lease. And if we don't have what you're looking for, not a problem. Bobby J will order you a new ride today. You won't pay over MSRP. And keep cruising in confidence with Kia's best-in-class warranty, 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Quote $30,000 per year, $650 acquisition fee. Forte LXS PE 581 756 MSRP 21985 K5 PG 201565 MSRP 26805 includes all rebates and incentives. P of 695 must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/23. Dealer stock only. Warranties a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you. And now joining us to talk some college football and college basketball, Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville joins us now. Brent, thanks for joining us. And I guess we'll start with kind of the biggest story of the day out of college basketball, where it looks like the involvement of Brandon Miller in the shooting down in Alabama. What were your thoughts when you first saw the reporting by AL.com?
Well, I mean, it's just, again, my heart goes out to the woman that was killed here. And again, I mean, I've seen the reports like everybody else has, and I mean, that's the thing where your heart goes out to at this point. And they're investigated it, and I'm sure they're still investigating it. So, and there will likely be continued fallout as it goes along as to what Brandon Miller's involvement was. I don't know. These are just difficult stories.
Yeah.
I mean, I was there for the Georgia game over the weekend, and he was obviously one of the stars in the game, and they're having a season unlike any other at this point. But again, the bottom line here is, whatever happened, if we will ever find out, someone lost their lives, and that's really all that matters.
Brandon, the story is not going to go away. I said tomorrow at this time, we can't imagine how big it will have mushroomed. And I will tell you, for full clarity, before you hear it from someone else, I said about an hour ago, maybe a little less, 50 minutes or so ago, I don't know how Greg Byrne and Nate Oates are employed. I don't, with everything around this story. And I'm afraid even more is going to come out if anybody can prove that there was coaching, that there was encouraging, that there was almost witness tampering by anybody of any officialdom at the University of Alabama, basketball coach or otherwise, this story is going to cast a wide net. Mm-hmm. I think Bama's very season. I'm not talking about winning it all or playing in Houston. I'm talking about the immediate possible shutdown of it is in jeopardy.
Well, I mean, I don't know frankly, at this point, you obviously can't hide as whoever you are, and I don't know how deep and wide it goes now that people are more involved with it. We'll know more over the next few days, I guess, and go from there. They've said they thought that they investigated the players who were involved, and the police did. I mean, I've talked to Bama beat writers who said that they've talked to the players involved for quite a long time. Didn't think they had enough to charge them with anything at this point. So it's just unfortunately, it's still an ongoing investigation.
It is, and it's very sad, and we know the prevalence society-wide, big town, small town, big city, suburb, bucolic, tough streets, whatever it is, we are awash in guns, and the idea of that near the Walk of Champions off of the Strip in the heart of the Alabama campus, if it's there, it's everywhere.
Sure it is. Oh yeah, there's no doubt about that. Look, we would be. I don't think we'd be shocked, but some people would. And the number of athletes on any SEC campus, regardless of the sport, who probably either have a gun on them in their car or wherever they stay.
That's got to end. To be a part of that team, it's going to have to be gun free wherever you are, on campus, in your car. I know the Second Amendment, but also know these coaches can almost trample on the Constitution daily if they'd like. I mean, in an era that we know, and I hate for the innocent. I hate for the innocent, and I sure hate it for the fans. But in a time that we know that, that a lot of coaches' philosophy is, if one misses class, we all run. If one's late for a meeting, we all run. Well, if one's involved in a murder, and we know now that there's at least 3, how do you continue a season?
I don't know. I really don't. And there's no telling how long that it's going to take to investigate this and get the facts on it either. So, but way too many unanswered questions here.
I mean, it's hard to ask. I wanted to talk to you about going to the Georgia game and how they look against a man-to-man defense. It's really hard to absolve and hit amnesia and talk about this team. Hits, runs, errors, free throws, jump shots, and full court defense.
Well, the problem is when things like this go on and there's people in their lives are involved, it overshadows everything else. So I know, and I get that, and again, my heart just goes out to these people who are involved and the families that are a part of this, and how easily this could have been a non-issue. But they've got, for whatever reason, they think they've got to have a gun, and we don't handle disputes anything now like we used to.
We really don't, Brent, and society has got to change on that. And Brian and I, a little more than an hour ago, in talking about this, we said, unfortunately, this is Alabama in the headline. It could be anywhere. It could be too many places, if not most, if not all.
Well, we cover all these schools, and the reality of it is and this and something else will crop up in the next few days and overtake this. It's the news cycle that we live with every day.
Yeah. But kind of transitioning to some actual basketball in the SEC, talking about Texas A&M kind of right there. Kind of look around. Some people have them on the bubble. Some people have them in and off the bubble. They've looked really, really good as of late. They've got a big game against Tennessee tonight, actually. How impressed have you been with what Buzz Williams has done as of late?
No one's talked enough about them.
That's true.
And what they've done, they've beaten Arkansas and Missouri. I thought, frankly, Missouri would give them a difficult time.
Me too.
But they didn't, and it was basically a blowout. But they played really as well as anybody. I mean, their net, Bama's 2, Tennessee's 3. Their net's 29. Look, I know they had early losses in the preseason. That committee has got to be able to look at them and be able to say that how I don't see if they continue to play the way they are, and if they win against Alabama or even a close game, they beat Tennessee tonight. I don't see how you can keep them out myself. They've got the numbers to back it up. They're one of the hottest teams in the conference, and right now, no one wants to play them.
You talk about those early season travails they had, and one of those losses was a loss here in Memphis to the Memphis Tigers, 83-79 back on Saturday, December 17th. I'm with you that the committee they have to rank it all. They have to weigh it all of late back in the early season. But in Memphis, Tiger fans and Tiger loyalists that listen to this show, they want that game remembered against what potentially could be the round robin champion of the SEC, or regular season champion of the SEC.
A&M at this point, according to Lenardi, is an 8. Of course, if you're an 8, you got to play a 9, and then you play a 1. And the thing for A&M right now is they play Tennessee tonight, and then A&M will play at Mississippi State on Saturday. The Northern's got Mississippi State as the last 4 in, and frankly, right now Mississippi State's playing extremely well themselves.
How many bids for this league? How many deserved? How many will they get?
I would say
right now most have 8 in.
I don't know if I can disagree with that. Frankly, you've got Bama and Tennessee and Kentucky and A&M, Arkansas. You've got what would tell the tale here will be Arkansas is a 10, Missouri's a 10, Auburn's 11, Mississippi State's the last 4 in. So, obviously you've got to. It will depend on. I don't know if all those teams. Missouri, I give credit for with the new coach how well they played. Auburn, frankly, has really struggled as of late. The Vanderbilt game that they could have won, Nashville, that they did not. I give Vandy a lot of credit. They played well as of late too. So, I would probably say, 8. I could agree with, but sometimes the projected number is not there. So I'll probably go with 7 at this point, just in case there's a swoon for somebody at the end.
Brent, we had both ends of the league covered Saturday. You were at Coleman for Bama, Georgia. I was in Fayetteville for Florida, Arkansas, a team you know well and cover quite closely. I think Todd Golden will work at Florida. Most Florida basketball coaches historically, just about everybody's won there. Mike White, he won. It wasn't enough. Everybody else, we know what Billy Donovan won, and we know Lon Kruger got to a Final Four. And we know Storm and Norman won, and we know even Don DeVoe won a long time ago. It's a good job, but for the first time, I wonder since when, Florida with a first-year football coach that didn't do well, and a first-year basketball coach that is now struggling with the loss of his star.
Well, Colin Castleton is out. He was easily one of the best teams in the league with him. I'm sorry, one of the best players in the league. They've had a real erratic season. They frankly, we talked about A&M a minute ago. They should have beat A&M twice. but they weren't able to do it. They struggle at the end in some of these games. But I do believe that he's a real analytics guy, that they've got the right coaching staff. And I think they've got it for both football and basketball. They just don't have the roster yet that they want in the next year or two to carry them on. So they're 53 in the net. Geez, if they had won, I don't know, 2 or 3 more games, they might be in a run for themselves to get into.
They'd be where state.
Yeah,
yes.
Basically they would. Mm-hmm.
Talking to Brent Beer from First Coast News in Jacksonville and kind of looking at Joe Lunardi's bracket. North Carolina currently at the top of the first 4 out, and I know a lot of people have talked about this disappointing season for them, where preseason number 1 team and now currently on the outside looking in, according to Joe Lunardi. But some people have pointed to kind of what they did last year, where it was kind of a disappointing season, and then they caught stride late, had a really good conference tournament, and then obviously did what they did in the NCAA tournament. Do you see a similar turnaround this year, or do you think they'll find themselves outside of the bubble come Selection Sunday?
I just don't. They've got a lot of tough questions to be able to deal with right now, and I'm just not sure they can turn this thing around. All in all, I mean, they are. You can see their problem is their shooting. I mean, they're 225th in the nation in field goal percentage. They're 336 in 3-point shots, so they're not really getting anything there at all. I mean, they're almost 100 in points scored. Rebounds, they're better. But, I mean, this just thing right now for them, I mean, that's rarefied air to be at 8, 16, and 11 at this point. I mean, Miami's really playing well. Obviously, Virginia is too. Clemson's a bit of a surprise. But, I mean, at 8 and 8, they've got a real decent amount of work to be done here with what they've got left, and they've got Virginia. They've got Virginia coming up on the 25th. They've got Notre Dame coming up. FSU is awful, which is unusual because FSU's been one of the better schools anywhere certainly in the league. At this
then there's
point.
Louisville.
Yeah. They've got the Duke game that's coming up. I mean, Duke's a little better than they are, about 2 or 3 games better. So they need to finish strong in the regular season, and right now probably need to win a couple in the ACC tournament in order to be short. I mean, there's still people that they're going to swear that they're going to get in. But look, you still got to get in on what you do on the court, not your reputation.
It will make for a very compelling at the tournament that really started all the postseason tournaments. So on Tobacco Road in Greensboro, so literally on Tobacco Road, it will make for a great ACC tournament. If you ever wanted to go to one, this is the year to go to because nothing's guaranteed. No. I don't think the teams that play on Tuesday will make a lot of noise, but from Wednesday on could be the team that punches the automatic bid, and Virginia Tech did it in thrilling style last year.
Well, the fascinating thing about this league is, I mean, you've got 3, 4, 5, 6. You've got 6 teams within, at the most, 2 games of each other. I mean, basically, even Duke at 11 and 6 is not that far from Virginia at 13 and 3. Miami is
kind of a reflection of college basketball in general this
year. It really
year.
is, isn't it, Brett? I would agree with that. But me, the surprises of Miami and Clemson both playing as well as they have that's been the highlight of the league. I can't leave Pitt out either. It's easy to do. But at 12 and 4 in the 19 and 8, they've had a tremendous season, frankly.
Yeah, Pitt's definitely a dark horse over there because they were number one in the conference for a while. I think they've dropped a little bit, but they were kind of up top. I want to ask you, Brent, before we let you go, about some kind of proposed rule changes to college football. They were kind of reported over the last couple of days to make these games a little shorter, kind of go to some of the NFL style is kind of what they're trying to compare it to. I think some that I saw, you can't use back-to-back timeouts to try to like ice a kicker or something like that. And then having the clock start after an incomplete pass and after a first down once the ball is respotted. What do you make of these rules, and do you think there is a necessary way to make college football games shorter?
Well, they could do. They could cut down halftime some more. Is a possibility. I don't know about the clock runs on incompletions once the ball is spotted. Maybe that's just because we're so used to it. The clock stopping as much as anything else. Icing the kicker, I think that's a good rule. Frankly, now one thing. And I learned this from your co-host, Brett, a few years ago. We were discussing how long the games are getting, and they are. I forgot where we were, but Brett turned to me and said, I can assure you one thing, they're not cutting out any commercials.
No, they're not.
No commercials. I see our media brethren tweeting, lop the commercials in half. Fellas, gals, friend, countrymen, it ain't happening.
No. And we need to repeat that.
Because we got to pay the quality control coach $2 million, Brent.
Absolutely we do. Yeah, you got to remember that. So, and that, look, that's what your average fan doesn't understand about this. That with the money that they're getting for these commercials in these games, and certainly the bigger games where you've got that goal of having your golden 4 million people watching the game. Oh yeah,
and we got to have 91 video people.
Yeah. Commercials aren't going anywhere.
No, commercials aren't going anywhere. And, Brent, I'm with you on halftime. I think a little can be done to shorten halftime. I don't want to go the full NFL model where they barely get inside to get a drink of water and get
really
back outside. Because I know we're going to – this is really – it always has been, but I know it's professional sports, but I don't want the full homogenization of college football. I want the halftime show.
I don't see why that college football has got to be strictly along the line of the NFL. I just don't buy that. I never have.
I'm so with you.
And look, to your point, and I'm really not being facetious about this at all. I mean, look, those bands deserve to have a show. I mean, crying out loud,
they do, and
they work as hard or harder than the teams do.
I want the flag corps. I want the palm cheer. And now maybe we don't have to introduce the 1965 homecoming queen as quite as often as we do.
Right.
But we can honor them pregame.
Yeah.
Like 2 hours before the game.
Oh yeah. Well, but the reality.
Thank you. We appreciate your service. Nobody wore a tiara like you.
But guys, the reality of it is, and they're talking about that if they do what they want to do, it's going to take away about a dozen plays. Well, but the reality of that is that going to force these teams, and some of them can do this, of playing even faster than they are now.
That's it, Brent. We've never played faster for the games to take longer.
It's amazing. So. I'm with everybody else, and it's kind of one of those things. I was with my brother who does sports radio in Huntsville this weekend. He made a good point. He said, "Look, people basically dedicate 8 or 9 hours to a game. Yeah. When you think about getting down there, being at the game, and getting back, Is 10 minutes going to make that much of a difference, frankly?
That's a good point, my brother Brett. You're right. And now with the scheduling that we don't get until 12 days out, sometimes only 6 days out. It's hard for the game and back for the day trippers now, and the 2-night minimum and the lack of rooms and everything that goes with it. But you're right, we're going to shave 10 minutes off a 9-hour day.
Well, I mean the average game last year was 3 hours and 21 minutes, and then in 2018, 5 years ago or 4 years ago, it was 3 hours and 16 minutes. So your game's 5 minutes longer. I mean, would they cut? Would they? I mean, look, I get people being frustrated about instant replay, but to me, my thought about that has been, if you've got the technology to get the blooming thing right, get it right. And I can live with that. I don't know if they're ever going to try to cut that down any at all. Would that put more pressure on them? So, and again, I don't know if doing all these things is the ultimate answer for this either.
Yeah, well, it's certainly an interesting topic, and I'm sure more will come about it in the next couple of weeks and as we get a little closer to the season. But, Brent, thanks for joining us. We'll do it again next week.
Good. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brent. That's Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville, joining us every week to talk some college football and college basketball. Well, we're a little late for a break. Let's get to that. When we come back, we'll talk a little college basketball on Sports Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
The experienced technicians at Conway Services are ready to solve all of your drain problems. For a limited time, take advantage of our 83 or It's Free drain clearing special. Feel secure knowing the trusted professionals at Conway Services guarantee that if we can't clear it, you don't pay for it. Call now or visit conwayservices.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 64210, 64365 EAS, MS 19668.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand bottled, taste tested, sent to a few friends, then taste tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com.
Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Dell Technologies President's Day business event starts now with deals to power America's doers and dreamers. Save on select performance business PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, plus free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL for President's Day deals. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Both 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte LXS, PE 581,756, MSRP 21,985, Sorrento PG 183,422, MSRP 23,405. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/23 with approved credit. Dealer stock only. Warranties are limited. Powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Jeff, my man, what's going on over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah? Look, I know you got something up your sleeve to blow me away.
You bet I do, Randy. Gas prices are high, but we've got you covered with 41 MPG Highway in your new 2023 Kia Forte LXS at $278 a month. $27.99 due at signing, and a 7-passenger SUV ready to ride in a 2023 Kia Sorrento LX $378 a month. $34.99 due at signing. Both 36-month lease.
Plus peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. And if I don't see exactly what I want,
I'll order it for you, and you won't pay over MSRP. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time, and we had a good slate of games last night on ESPN, ESPN2. We had Kansas on the road against TCU with a 63-58 win. West Virginia just completely dominating Oklahoma State. Those were pretty much the two biggest games of the day, but I mean, kind of everything in college basketball really being overshadowed today by the situation in Alabama that we talked about earlier involving Brandon Miller.
Well, it is, Brian, unfortunately, and look, we're the show that likes to keep it on the sports. We like to keep it between the lines. We like to keep it on matchup zones, hits, runs, errors, free throws, touchdowns, holding penalties, and in 1965 homecoming queens. That's what we like to try to keep it on, but today it's almost unavoidable. One thing Kansas did do last night, and I think a mark of a good team is when you can win in a lot of different ways. Mm-hmm. And it looks like they can and will be able to. Again, I even said it yesterday. We could be dodging in this year that we think it's wide open, and we get to a Final Four or a Final Two of Kansas versus UCLA. Hey, what about the rest of us this year?
You're right. I mean,
because that's as blue-blooded as it gets.
As blue-blooded as it gets, and Kansas has really kind of asserted their dominance over these past two games against two really, really good teams, TCU and Baylor, and
don't they always at this time of year?
Oh, they always come around right about now.
Bill Self's not one of my favorite figures in the game today. Once upon a time he was, and remember him covering me at ORU and at Tulsa with the good run in 2000 with Tulsa. I was really kind of following Tennessee, covering Tennessee, and Tulsa got in the way of that and got to the Elite Eight that year down in Austin at those games. But he takes a lot of slings and arrows, most of it I think deserved, and he's asked for a lot of it.
Self-inflicted.
But his team, there it is again, is the chance to join Florida, 06, 07 as the last back-to-back.
Yeah, and they have a lot of guys that can really, be that playmaker any night. Obviously, Grady Dick, their star freshman, has been kind of the guy so far. But even last night, he was 3 for 10 from 3, but still finished out with 19 points. So, they've got guys that can do it in any way they want, and they've got multiple guys that can do it. So they're a scary team, and I think you're right. I think they have a really good shot at being the last team standing again.
It was a good night last night, and it really gets good tonight. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you, for me, March Madness has started. It's begun. Yeah. These games now, just about everything the rest of the way impacts either in or out or seeding at the conference tournament, potentially seeding when the big reveal on Selection Sunday by the NCAA Men's Tournament Committee when it's officially released. Yeah. All this matters. Yeah. All this really matters. And the attention is on with the NBA kind of in their downtime right now in All-Star break coming out of it Thursday. This is the time for college football to really have its impact. And like we were talking about yesterday, 9 days ago was the Super Bowl.
It feels like it was 2 months ago now. It's officially basketball season, I guess.
And we're going to have coaching changes, and we know we feel almost certain that you're going to be at least one. Last year was kind of the year of changes in the SEC, but it feels like there will be one at Ole Miss. And almost everywhere I go, the conversation is about who will Ole Miss get.
Yeah.
And I think the best coach in college basketball, he's available in Chris Beard. How many times in Ole Miss basketball history have they had a chance? Got really lucky when they got Lane Kiffin. It took kind of an odd set of circumstances, him leaving Tennessee maybe too soon, the dissolution at USC, him getting back at FAU, for Ole Miss to be able to land that. But Chris Beard out there, and now formally cleared, and I think cleared should matter.
Absolutely.
It really should matter. I know people are saying, yeah, cleared, but still the mugshot, and that's the terrible thing about anything domestic. When the police get called, somebody's getting arrested. When they get called over a domestic issue, someone's getting arrested. And I'm not so sure that in the state of Texas that it really ever goes off your record, even cleared.
I don't know. I'm no lawyer.
Let me find out more about that. Hold on. I'm sorry I even threw that out there. But Chris Beard has been cleared. So could Ole Miss hire him? I say not a chance. No way. For this reason. The good side of Chris Beard, what makes him so good is that he runs so very hot. He is wound tight. He is very competitive. He's very hands-on. What if just one allegation after he's hired anywhere, whether it's Ole Miss or anywhere else, then the person that hired him's job would be in jeopardy.
Yeah.
And that's just too big a risk, I think, for any AD, for Keith Carter, or for anyone else. I don't have any inside information. This is just my opinion on it. I have not asked for any. I don't care for any, but I would say it is almost 0% chance that Chris Beard would be hired at Ole Miss, and I don't think right now anybody should really expect that. I don't know if Chris Beard could expect that.
No, I don't think so. And while we were talking to David Cobb yesterday, I mean, I think he even said it, like the offers he's going to get this offseason are going to be those mid-major jobs, those low-major jobs, just kind of getting back into coaching. And I think you're right because, like you said, I mean, if that allegation comes out after Ole Miss or any team hires
even
him,
blackmail,
anything. But now that this has happened to Chris Beard and his name has been in the headlines for these reasons, there are going to be more eyes than ever on him and on whatever program he takes over, just waiting for that next slip up. So I think you're right. I mean, there's a lot more risks, it seems like, right now to hiring Chris Beard than there are positives,
Anyone that would hire him or even seriously entertain it, you're going to get those stories of souls for sale.
Yep, 100%. I mean, and that's like you said. I mean, it's almost like a two-edged sword where he's been cleared, and that should mean something. But
and that's a shame.
It's a shame.
It's unfair.
But it's just the way it kind of is today, and there's no way of getting around it because even if we sit here and say he's cleared, that should mean something. He should go on and coach somewhere. There's 1,500 other people who are going to say, Chris Beard did that. Chris Beard is now at your school. You did that. It's just what happens, and it's going to be all the headlines whenever he gets a coaching job. And so I will be interested to see if he goes and gets a coaching job this offseason or if he lays low for a year and then maybe next year finds something after kind of everything settled down for a year.
Never mind the case and being cleared. Here would be one of the downsides for anybody that would hire Chris Beard. He has proved that he very much is restless. I mean, the one good year at ULR, great tournament run at ULR, and then to UNLV for what, 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
Not even.
I mean,
not even that, Jay Morgan.
No, it was like less than a week, I believe.
Oh, was it? And then to Texas Tech. At Texas Tech, the only thing that would have kept him there and not taking his dream job, his alma mater, at the other UT at Texas, the Longhorns, he would have had to have won that game against Virginia for the national championship. There's no way he's leaving then. I mean, they would have found the money. They would have chained him to his office and not let him get out of town. But he was restless to go to Texas.
Yep. No, Brett, you're right. It was March 27th he took the job at UNLV, and it was April 15th that he took the job at Texas Tech. So about 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah, the moving truck hadn't gotten there though.
It had not.
I mean, he had barely cleared out of Little Rock. So wherever he goes, when he wins, he's going to be very restless.
Well, what do you think? I mean, obviously we're just speculating here, but do you think he's a head coach somewhere next season? And if so, I mean, do you think it's a low major school?
I don't. I'm with David Cobb. Yeah. Just kind of lay low, stay out, and won't have to can start this time next year at a place a little better. And the image of paying the price maybe for something now cleared, and I know that's got to be aggravating to him. Everybody that's ever either had to enter a plea bargain deal on something they didn't think they did, but you couldn't take that chance, and in his case, completely cleared. I don't know about full exoneration, but he's cleared of all charges. Yeah. That should matter. But we know in reality that it doesn't. Mm-hmm. And that's not fair. That's not right. So, but in a year, time has a way of fixing a lot of things. Who knows? Who knows in a year, would Louisville have the stomach for it?
Yes.
I think they would, but I don't know if they'll be making a move.
I think when you say it doesn't matter, I think it matters, but it also, fully cleared, public relations is just a different animal, and it still creates so many problems in that venue. So I think, like you say, time makes a difference in this case because it will matter that he was cleared in a year or two, but it doesn't necessarily matter now because of just the animal that is public relations.
And that police report does read that the fiancé did have abrasions and bruises on her. Now, his defense is, I was defending myself, and I did have to put my hands on her to fend her off of me. And you know that DA, prosecutor, investigation group, you know they looked into that. And if it had not been the case, they would have gone on with charges.
Sure. But I think you're right. I think laying low for a year is probably the best move. It's an ugly kind of police report, like you said, but I think that's probably what it'll do.
And the mugshot.
Mugshot's out there, and it'll always be out there. I mean, like we said, no matter if it's this year or if it's next year, whenever he takes a job at a Power 5 school, that's going to be the first thing you see is that mugshot.
You will. Great basketball coach to do what he's done in his career. Jay Morgan, do you think that highly of him? I think he's the best coach in the country.
I do think highly of him, but based on what I know about his staff at Little Rock and Texas Tech, and take this with a grain of salt, I suppose people can see for themselves all the wins he has and whatnot. Mark Adams was the schematic genius behind everything they were doing on the basketball court at Little Rock and Texas Tech. But I do think Chris Beard has an uncanny ability to not only recruit, but he's a good leader. He inspires people. He's a very fiery guy. Yeah. But in terms of schematics, I put a lot of his success. I don't think he would have had it without Mark Adams. And quite frankly, a lot of people didn't even know who Chris Beard was until Mark Adams was on his staff. And so I think he plays a big part in that as well. And
that was some staff that he had at Little Rock.
It was.
It's not hard to believe either, really, when you kind of look at those two guys. It's not hard to believe that Mark Adams was the schematics part of it. But you look at that Texas team right now, 21-6. Playing big really good basketball. Yeah. So Iowa State tonight, that's going to be a big one. They've been kind of the top of the and around the top of the Big 12 all season. So and that's the team he put together. So another good year for Texas, and that just kind of shows what kind of recruiting power he has.
Everybody needs to get to Olive Branch to All-Star Chevrolet and find that new Chevy you've been dreaming of, the Chevy Silverado or Equinox, and get financing as low as 2.99%. Ask for Jeff. Ask for Kevin. Ask any member of that great sales team about the incentives that they can get for you. Incentives that include $750 off your purchase price of any new Chevy just for owning a 2009 or newer non-GM car or truck. You don't have to trade it. Just own it. Plus, a lot of customers can get cash back that can add up to as much as $3,250 right now. If you're a first responder, military, educator, healthcare worker, you get another $500. Kevin and Jeff want to thank all of you who have brought your cars and trucks to All-Star, your SUVs to All-Star and Olive Branch, first exit into Mississippi, Kraft Goodman Road, and selling them to All-Star Chevrolet. Easiest place to get a check today for big cash, even if you owe money against it. For service, call and ask for Sean or Jeff in the service department. Quick, efficient, easy oil changes. Remember, it's not the Pike, not South Haven, not Bartlett, Mount Moriah, or Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch, All-Star Chevrolet. Find new roads to All-Star Chevy and Olive Branch, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Let's get to a break. When we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Are you looking to lease a commercial space for your business? Call Stephen Hoffman. Are you a landlord looking to have your space leased? Call Stephen Hoffman. Maybe you're looking to buy or sell commercial real estate. If so, you want a professional broker looking out for your best interest, and that broker is Stephen Hoffman with Myers Commercial Real Estate. Stephen is a Memphis native who knows his market well and only works the commercial side of real estate. He works for a great firm that has been locally owned and operated in Memphis for almost 40 years. Whether representing tenants, landlords, or investors alike, you are sure to get great market analysis, access to on and off market listings, and a tough negotiator on your behalf. Call 901-761-5595 and ask for Stephen Hoffman. You can also find him on the web at myerscre.com. That's MYERSCRE.com. Stephen Hoffman with Myers Commercial Real Estate. Representing your real estate business is his business. Call Stephen Hoffman.
Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Mississippi Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers. So join Mid-South Ag Equipment and the Mississippi Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Call Mid-South Ag at 662-890-3141 to get your discount today.
What does it feel like to file with TaxSlayer and get your guaranteed maximum refund? It feels like the last level of a video game, facing off against the final boss who stands between you and your refund.
All your refund is belong to me.
Using the power of TaxSlayer like a secret power-up he doesn't see coming.
Only the most tax confident can defeat me.
Throwing your laptop at his video game face and watching him crumble into a giant pile of shiny coin tax refunds.
Oh, not fair. You use TaxSlayer.
Save up to 80% when you file with TaxSlayer. Start for free.
Bobby J's waiting to get your call today and put you in a new Kia from Gossett Kia Covington Pike. Hit the road with 41 MPG Highway for just $278 a month in your new 2023 Kia Forte LXS $27.99 due at signing. Or rule the road in luxury with 2023 Kia K5 LXS $337 a month, $31.99 due at signing, both 36-month lease. And if we don't have what you're looking for, not a problem. Bobby J will order you a new ride today. You won't pay over MSRP. And keep cruising in confidence with Kia's best-in-class warranty, 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Quote $30,000 per year, $650 acquisition fee, Forte LXS PE $581,756, MSRP $21,985, K5 PG $201,565, MSRP $26,805, includes all rebates and incentives, PF $695, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/23. Dealer stock only. Warranties a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Dell Technologies President's Day business event starts now with deals to power America's doers and dreamers. Save on select performance business PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, plus free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL for President's Day deals. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, I want to talk about our seasoning and sauce today. Our sauce is a great blend of sweet, mustard, and vinegar. It's good on so many items other than barbecue. It's good on pizza. People use it in lieu of ketchup. But our seasoning is the original dry rub, created by my father using a mixture of Greek and Cajun spices. People think our sauce and seasoning are good just during the grilling season. Nothing could be further from the truth. It's good year-round. Our seasoning is good on fish, chicken, deviled eggs, corn on the cob, French fries. People even put a dash in a Bloody Mary. To get a complete list of all of our recipes using our products, go to hogsfly.com, click recipes, and you'll see 50 wonderful items and dishes. And Brett, our sauce and seasoning is available at most grocery stores, and if they don't have it, please remind your grocer to stock it. And our slaw is also available at most Kroger stores.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you. And we do this segment every day where we pull out a stat or a number that we think is relevant, important. It's big number of the day.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand.
It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
So my big number of the day, I'm going to go with Tigers basketball. A little site called KimPom, which he does all the advanced analytics for every team in college basketball. He does a great job. It's a bunch of numbers. If you're an analytical nerd, it's definitely a site you want to go to. But I saw he actually posted talking about how bad Tulsa has been this year on defensively. But one number that I saw that jumped out to me was the number 6. That is where Memphis ranks at, according to the defensive efficiency numbers in the American Athletic Conference. They sit at 6 with a 102.7 defensive efficiency number. That's behind UCF, Tulane, Temple, Cincinnati, and Houston. I think that's interesting because I think coming into the season, everyone thought this was going to be a traditional Penny Hardaway, defensively sound, great defensive team, and they're just not. And everyone thought the offense wasn't going to be great this year, and they've really turned it on in conference play. Right now, they're sitting at 2nd in the American in adjusted offensive efficiency. So it's just interesting to see how this team that everyone thought was going to be so great defensively just kind of struggled in conference play.
I thought it was going to be the calling card of this team. I thought it was going to be a team that would win a bunch of games in the 50s and a whole bunch in the 60s, and
they're just not doing that.
You mentioned Tulsa tonight at 5-21 at home as a 2-point dog at home to East Carolina in the lone American game tonight. My big number is from not the Tigers, but from Tiger last weekend to shoot 60, one of the 4 rounds, 67. My big number is 67. Just to show with that battered body, what he's been through, a lot of it he caused. Certainly, often for Tiger, own worst enemy was Tiger, but also to come out the other end and to be, I hope, at a good place in his life, but pretty good on the golf course with, about 1.5 leg. And at that very site 2 years ago, the automobile accident on Monday after that tournament, his tournament, to then go back to Riviera where he still hadn't won. He was joking about that, but to shoot a 67 to show that greatness. We know we're not going to see him many more times this year. Maybe only one more time. Bay Hill maybe before the Masters. Certainly, I bet not two. One more before the Masters.
Probably. And we won't see him a ton. That's for sure.
And we're not going to see him in Memphis. He's probably not going to qualify for that. I didn't look up and see what his OWGR, his world golf ranking, because it was in the 1100s. I didn't look up and see if it improved it very much, but to still be able to muster up a 67, the greatness. I thought he was the greatest putter ever, the greatest iron player ever, and about a great bomber driver ever. Maybe not accuracy always, but certainly could get it out there far enough. That's why it all adds up to, either at worst the second best player or the best player of all time.
985, Brett. Yeah. So that is all. That also is a big number.
Cracked 1,000.
Way
to go, Tiger.
Top 1,000. Man, picking a big number is the hardest part of my day, to be honest. I've got so many here that I like. And
break them all loose.
Honestly, no, I got to save
one for each strand of beads.
That's right. I got so many beads. I got to save one for tomorrow, so I'll do this one. And I apologize in advance because it's a hockey one, but I like the stat and I love the name associated with it too. So my big number today is 50. John Gibson, who plays goalie for the Anaheim Ducks, he made 51 saves in a 4-3 loss to the Florida Panthers yesterday. He made 53 saves in a 6-3 loss to the Penguins earlier that month. John Gibson is the first goaltender with multiple 50-save losses in the same season since Gump Worsley of the New York Rangers in 1962-63. And that stat really is all about the name. Like you said, Brian, Gump Worsley is the last guy who's done it.
Not that
is that a real name? Or
I swear, I'm telling you what, that's what I loved about the stat the most.
Now.
Gump. I mean, we're not making Gumps anymore.
Around 1961 or so is when Forrest Gump played at Alabama, isn't it? Around those
years. It was a really popular name in the 60s.
Who knew?
And it really hasn't been popular since.
Ever since. I know nobody really cares about hockey down here, but that's kind of impressive to have multiple 50-save
I had a hockey note yesterday about Rangers and Jets.
We're leading the charge for hockey in Memphis.
We're trying to carry the banner, aren't we?
We're trying to, Brett. And any chance I can have a chance to say this on the radio, I'm going to, because I gotta speak my truth here. So I tried to be a Predators credentialed media member, and they wouldn't take me. We're trying to carry the mantle, and they won't let us.
But that's why we continue to talk about it, because the more we talk about it, the more people will notice.
That's right.
I'm going to sick some people in Nashville on that. That irritated me when you told me that.
Hey, next year, there's always next year. I'm going to get it next year.
You're going to do it every year until they finally give you
So it was season you were denied. Have you tried game to game?
No, because really the one game I wanted to go to was the Rangers game in November, and there ended up being a scheduled conflict. I couldn't go anyway. But so I haven't tried for a game yet. But, next year we're going to try the season. Maybe I should go to a few late season games, get to know the folks, and then I can get that season one.
Maybe.
Become one of the old heads of the press box.
That's right. Get to know everybody, shaking hands, kissing babies.
I've never been in a hockey press. Every NHL game I've ever been to is fan. I've never been credentialed at hockey.
Well, Brett, we can make the road trip together.
Let's go.
Right. Let's do it.
That would be something. But that's our big number of the day. But before we wrap up this hour, I got to tell you about Central Barbecue, where smoke is their sauce. Stop in for lunch or dinner at one of their 5 great locations in Midtown on Central Avenue, Poplar, Summer, downtown by the Civil Rights Museum, or the one in Mississippi on Getwell Road in South Haven for slow-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. Central Barbecue has some of the best ribs in town, and don't forget about the pulled pork sandwich. But they have more than just pork. Try the beef brisket, smoked turkey, or barbecue bologna. Pair any of that with one of their great sides like greens, slaw, or my favorite, the mac and cheese, for a meal you'll remember. If you want catering for 15 or more people, Central Barbecue can do that. Just call 901-527-9990. That's 901-527-9990. And ship it to family or friends who aren't lucky enough to visit Central Barbecue. Head over to eatcbq.com and click the shipping tab to send your loved ones the best barbecue in town. Again, give them a call at 901-527-9990 or visit one of their 5 great locations for Central Barbecue, where smoke is their sauce. That'll do it for hour number 2. When we get back, Bo Marchant will join us to talk all about the NFL offseason. That's next on Sports Time.
I know you're thinking about pools and patios right now. Don't deny it. They're on your mind. So it's a good thing that Family Leisure is having their preseason patio and pool sale. It's like they're mind readers. You can buy now and save big with the area's largest selection of patio furniture. You want free layaway? Done. You want special financing? Done. You want to be ready to enjoy your backyard just as soon as spring hits? Family Leisure has you covered. Patio and pool season's not that far away. So now's the time to take advantage of this fantastic early bird pricing special. Now here comes the really special part. If you mention this commercial, you get half off delivery and installation. I'll let that sink in for a second. You heard me right, my friends. You mentioned this very commercial, and Family Leisure will give you half off delivery and installation. The preseason patio and pool sale is happening now at Family Leisure, Witten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
3 little words no parent wants to hear.
My tummy hurts.
And it always seems to happen at the worst times. Like in the middle of the morning rush, when you still have homework to check and lunches to pack, and of course, you're already late for work. Luckily, there's Pepto Kids. Pepto Kids chewables provide fast relief for common stomach issues, turning those 3 words into these 3 words.
I feel better.
Bad time for stomach upsets? Good time for Pepto Kids chewables. Fast relief for little tummies. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey, Zeke, how's it going? Oh, it's going great. Look, I just started the Central Barbecue Diet. Haven't heard of it. Well, then, I tell you what. You just sit down right there, and I will tell you everything that you need to know about the Central Barbecue Diet. Eating Central Barbecue exclusively has not been shown in clinical studies to reduce weight. Eating a diet of exclusively Central Barbecue has not been proven to make you more popular, attractive, and intelligent, although it almost certainly would. Plus, you know what? Who am I to tell you how to live your life? Do what you want. Take up golf. Get a puppy. Learn to crochet. Eat Central Barbecue 3 meals a day. It's your life. Don't let some disclaimer guy on a Central Barbecue commercial tell you what to do. You're a person. Live your life. Eat barbecue.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you ordered a new air filter for your car. You try to install it, but it doesn't fit. So you take a little bit off the sides. Well, still doesn't fit? Well, you could try to sit on it. Or just go to eBay Motors and get it right the first time. When you see the green check, you know that part's gonna fit. Air filters, brakes, headlights, over 122 million parts. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
It's here, Mid-South, the last call. Special editions honoring the end of an era with Dodge Challenger and Dodge Charger and the last of the legendary Hemi engines that power them. Up to 808 horsepower and heritage colors. B5 blue, plum crazy purple, and sublime green. And Gossett's got them more than anyone in 300 miles. So come by and take a look at these bad boys. Plus, celebrate the President's Day sales event with 2022 Jeep Renegade Latitude 4x4, $398 a month. Or get 2022 Dodge Charger SXT, $449 a month. Savings everywhere at Gossett, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Fiat. But if you can't find exactly what you want, let Gossett order it today. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett on the Pike, or shop online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
3,500 cash down, 75 months at 4.99 APR. Renegade NPN 96688, MSRP 32,880. Charger NN 246,270, MSRP 35,630. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/2023. Dealer stock only.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you. And joining us now to talk about the NFL, Bo Marchant from collegetopro.com and Sports Illustrated joins us now. Bo, thanks for joining us. And I guess I'll start, we talked to you, we've been talking a lot of the now of the NFL with games going on. What does an offseason right about now look like for Bo Marchant?
This is the busy time. This is draft mode, draft season. Most people think, when football season actually starts, they're like, you're going to be busy. No, that's actually the downswing. So between with the CFL and then just the draft itself, this is the busy time. I've been doing shows, and you're trying to write stories, and it's a blessing. Though it's a blessing. And this is my favorite time of the year with free agency and the draft. And as I posted to Twitter, it's the rebirth of another season. And I love this time of year in the National Football League.
Bo, I do too. In fact, we were texting with each other today, and I've already mentioned it once today. 9 days ago was the Super Bowl. I'm as fired up about next year and this off season as you can be, because really any time, for us, it's football time.
It is, and we're spoiled because the last few seasons with the quarterbacks, so much drama and unknowns, and we have another season of craziness in terms of, Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr, Lamar Jackson, Jimmy Garoppolo. What the 49ers do. Is Tom Brady really done? So we know how we have enough to talk about with quarterbacks alone, and then you start thinking about the new quarterbacks on the horizon, the draft itself, free agency, what teams are going to, be able to really load up and make a run at 2023, and kind of like the Eagles did. The Eagles went really all in on adding a ton of new pieces and trades and acquirements throughout the season, kind of going all in, if you will. And they fell a little short, but there'll be another team that probably takes that same, trajectory in terms of let's go all in and try to add as many pieces via the draft and free agency that we can.
Bo, I can't let you get by with that. You just kind of gently dropped that in there. Is Tom Brady really done? Is that a topic? Is that a subject matter? He's done. Well, it's real this time, isn't it?
I don't think so. Listen, that
Whoa!
Fox contract starts that Fox contract starts in 2024. So, listen,
that Fox contract means nothing.
Yeah. Right. Jay Cutler had a contract, and then he went to the Dolphins. So, I until this season comes and passes, and TB12 is not on the field, then I'll believe it. And I think anyone else that think otherwise would be foolish. And he can call into the radio show right now and tell me I'm out of my mind, and I'll politely
phone lines wide open. Call in, TB.
Come on. Call in, Tom. You can berate me and say I'm foolish, but I'm just going to politely.
We'll keep a line dedicated to him.
Tom Brady line.
Wouldn't that be great? And then he'll start
eating
into my time. He'll start taking over on Tuesdays.
Bo, I also like in there. I can feel from you that you say at no time. So you think maybe even stay in shape and him be the if somebody got hurt guy. If Dak Prescott got hurt early in the year, is he the savior for the Cowboys? And would Roger Staubach let him wear 12?
Wow, think about his demeanor. How teams would still covet him. I just think in the way that we saw quarterbacks go down this past year, it was hard to have a quarterback available and ready.
And he was good last year.
He was. And I just, for me personally, until the season comes and passes and the next, trophies hoisted by a team, and, we're talking about 2025, until then, I cannot say that. I just think we'd be foolish to think that he's completely. Listen, didn't he retire last year and come back? So
sure did.
He
did.
He did. So I just can't get past that.
All right, we like to have a fun. We call it High Hard Ones. I want everybody to join in on this, starting with Bo gets the first crack at it. High Hard One. Who's more likely to play next year, Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady?
I think Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron definitely wants to retire or play. I don't think anybody, him or Brady, I don't think want to leave the game. And I really don't think Aaron Rodgers wants to leave, especially with the way that season ended. I think he definitely wants to come out at least looking a lot better than the quarterback that we think of when we think of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I got to go with Aaron Rodgers, too. Jay?
I'm going to say the same, Brett. The same likelihood. I don't know if that's a bloop single or not, but that's what I'm saying.
Jay Morgan, I am kind of with you.
But that's because I think both play.
Oh, you think both play?
I do.
I'm going to go both retire. I'm going to say he checks into the quiet space, off the grid, the dark space, studies everything, realizes, great run in Green Bay, Packer for life, I'm out of here.
If both those guys would retire, just say we go in the week 4 and they haven't played a down yet. If somebody gets hurt, I will say that one of them suits up and goes to whatever team inquires about their services. I know Rodgers is going to play. I don't know that, but I would say yet, and I wouldn't rule out Tom Brady. But again, perception, opinion means nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, now I think the real question when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, are you taking, let's say he commits to playing next year, week 1, are you taking him being in a Green Bay Packer jersey, or are you taking the field?
Field. And yeah. I think they're done with him in Green Bay. I think he's done with Green Bay. They're not rebuilding, but they're in a little bit of a transition.
Yeah.
I think the Jets are a popular destination just in terms of the OC, Nathaniel Hackett's back there. The Jets have some nice pieces offensively, especially if Breece Hall comes back healthy. I mean, he looked dynamic, and then Wilson. What a fabulous draft when you think about Wilson and Sauce Gardner and Breece Hall. The Jets really did themselves some good this past season.
The Jets have had a couple good drafts that they just need a little seasoning and some stability at the most important position in all of team sport. Visiting on the NFL with Bo Marchant, and we do every Tuesday afternoon, a year round, about the NFL with Bo. Bo, the college draft this year, I just can't believe what I'm reading about some of these quarterbacks that I don't think are very good. Most notably, Will Levis. He's going to get taken quickly, isn't he?
Yeah, he's gonna be a first round quarterback. I don't think there's any question. Listen, all these guys, we're going to talk about these guys a lot. We're going to talk about Stroud and C.J. Young, Anthony Richardson, Hendon Hooker. There's a lot of guys that could be possibly, that are going to be first round picks. I think this class. I don't know if we're looking at that Andrew Luck or that, Trevor Lawrence type guy where we say, wow, this guy is the franchise type.
Anthony Richardson?
Yeah. I mean, you look at Richardson, you almost think of him as like a Cordell Stewart. Will he be a quarterback every down successful type guy at the next level? You can't look at him and watch his ability and say, this guy is just freakishly good with the football in his hands. But the NFL game's a little bit different. I know we're trending towards a more athletic type quarterback where, you can use that, but we've been reluctant to see long-term success with that. But, he's 6'4", 6'5", he's over 230. He's going to be an intriguing guy. He's that guy, at least that right now, we're sitting here on the 21st of February. I think Richardson is that quarterback amongst this class who can take when I say nosedive, I'm not saying he's going, day 7 and he's going to be an undrafted prospect, but I think he's that quarterback who could ascend and be right there vying for the top spot because he's just so tantalizing in terms of the potential. Teams love the high ceiling. I think when you look at him, you get that. Or like a Malik last year, you kind of get, when you really start to break it down, the accuracy's not there. There's a lot of things that you like, but not first round like. So I think that's Richardson. And then you have the other guys in Levis and Stroud and Young who pretty much should be surefire first round picks, as Richardson. I just think as of those 4, I think he has the biggest trajectory, the jump or drop a little bit compared to the others.
Who's the franchise changer? Who, maybe not full Mahomesian, but close enough? Who's the guy that can do it?
Well, quarterback-wise?
Is it Bryce Young? Is it C.J. Stroud?
I'm going to have some fun with this personally, Brett, because Ohio State, in my mind, has produced some of the worst quarterback prospects over the last decade. And
they've had some bad luck.
Yeah,
and then the best one they produced, it went through LSU.
That's right.
The best one they had went to LSU, and we see how good he is at Joe Burrow. So I'm reluctant to think that Stroud can change it, but out of all the guys, and this is coming from me, I'm a stickler on this stuff. I like Stroud more than the others. If I was going to say one of them, because I wasn't behind any of the others, but Stroud for some reason, I think could pretty change that momentum. And Justin Herbert was the same guy at Oregon. You had your Marcus Mariotas, You had your Dennis Dixons, a long, long line of quarterbacks who were really productive with the Ducks. When the NFL time came, they never produced. Fortunately, Herbert's kind of changed that momentum, and he's been able to be a wonderful national, NFL quarterback. I think C.J. Stroud possibly could be the changer, and it's funny you brought it up because I'm already thinking about the stories I want to write when I go down to the combine, and that's the question I'm going to pepper all the coaches and all the GMs when they arrive at the podium. How much emphasis on past success or the lack of success, especially at quarterback? And I'm going to go directly at Ohio State. Does that cloud how you look at C.J. Stroud, or do you just look at these guys individually? I'd like to think that you have to look at track history somewhat.
Yeah. Well, I think this offseason is really interesting because you talk about all those prospects in the draft at the quarterback position, but there's also a handful of quarterbacks that will find a new home that have already kind of made their career in the NFL. One of the biggest being Derek Carr, which I think it was last Tuesday when the Las Vegas officially released him, but we didn't have enough time to kind of get your thoughts on it. How many teams do you think kind of get involved in trying to bring in Derek Carr, and where do you think he ultimately lands?
Well, you can't rule out the Colts, although you would think that they would not go down this road again in terms of bringing a return quarterback in. But, at this point, we don't know. Miami, depending on the health of Tua, I doubt that would happen, but it's just in terms of I think Tennessee is a possibility. We know Ryan Tannehill isn't the answer, and Malik isn't the answer as well. So I think those are a couple teams in the AFC. NFC side, I don't think the Lions would maneuver off Jared Goff to replace him with Derek Carr. I think you're getting the same thing. You got the Panthers. We know Carr is a very Bible-based individual, and we know David Tepper, very Bible-based as well with the Panthers. So that could be a connection in terms of both need and a situation where you feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe Tampa. No Tom Brady. So I think those are the ones that just kind of stand out. And we know the Saints have been involved, but I think those teams are the ones. One, they need quarterbacks, and they could possibly. Be the ones, and I guess I can't rule out the Falcons as well. I mean, Desmond Ridder was a rookie last year, but with Drake London and Kyle Pitts, they have to get vertical in Atlanta.
But one thing I suspect, or I'm going to hate to see, is if Aaron Rodgers moves on. The Packers have moved on from him, and he plays next year, and I end up being wrong about that. It's going to give him. It's going to give him the sense of, they let me go. No, you forced yourself out. You were the biggest rear end ever, and they got sick of it.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. We've heard stories that, that is the latest, kind of rumors floating out of Green Bay where they're more, hey, we don't want you here anymore. It's probably a slap in the face for a guy who, he's ego-driven. He appears, arrogant. His word is the word. He's flamboyant in his self-perceived stature that he's smarter than all of us, and we hang on his every word. We talk about him, but like TB12, if Aaron wants to call in, I trust me. When we hang up the show, I'm gonna, worry about having dinner with my wife. I'm not going to worry about if he's exiled in darkness or where he's going. I like to watch him play. I do love watching him play, and he's fantastic. But all the I guess childish antics that he kind of goes with being who he is just over the top.
What's the best fit for Lamar Jackson at quarterback next season? Where's he best? Is it Baltimore? They built a team around him.
They sure did.
They built a team around him. They changed OCs, so you got a new coordinator. But I think that would be done to suit him. I don't think he's going back, Brett. I really don't. I think the way this past season ended, I just don't think he signs. I put it this way: out of Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, I would be more. I would agree on the idea that Lamar Jackson never suits up in a Ravens uniform again, rather than Rodgers playing somewhere else, and which I do think he's going to do, but I just think the way things ended with Jackson and the Ravens. But in terms of where he could go and be successful, I think a guy like him, he could go anywhere and be successful.
Atlanta.
He's a unique talent. Yeah, he's a unique talent. If you put him on the Saints, if you brought him to Tampa, you put him anywhere. He's. I'm telling you, being able to watch him play live, he is one of the funnest players I've been fortunate enough to watch, and he can beat you with his feet and with his arm. He's, I remember the one Steeler game in Baltimore, and the Ravens had a chance to win. They were like inside, and you were on pins and needles because you're like, this guy is so good. It doesn't matter if you have great coverage. It doesn't matter. Yeah. He can beat you so many ways. So, but he has to stay healthy. And I wouldn't pay him, though. I wouldn't pay him the guaranteed money. What Cleveland did with Watson was an anomaly. It could happen, later on, but I don't think we're going to see that type of contract with those type of dollars anytime soon in terms of the guaranteed money and what they threw at him. Even with the likes of Burrow and all these other guys that are coming up on the docket, what Watson got was a bizarre contract, and I think internally teams are kind of saying, "Hey, whatever the Cleveland did, we're not gonna go down that path because we're gonna go broke doing it."
Talking to Bo Marchant from collegetopro.com and Sports Illustrated. Bo, I got to ask you about my Cowboys. What do you think they're going to do when it comes to Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard? Obviously, the franchise tag started today where teams can franchise tag a player. A lot of people think Tony Pollard could be the franchise tag for the Cowboys, but there's also been talks about Zeke taking a pay cut or maybe the Cowboys just ultimately cutting him. What do you think ultimately happens down in Dallas with those running backs?
Well, I think if they tag Pollard, it's going to be $10 million, so that's not extreme cash. Yeah. So I think they can get away with that. And I think a guy like Tony Pollard, not being a highly drafted guy, I think, kind of like an Aaron Jones in Green Bay, who fourth-round pick, you get that second contract, you make your money there. I don't think he's going to look to break the bank on the Cowboys, and the Cowboys don't have the money to break the bank for him. Right. So I look at that, and I think it would be a contract where they don't really have to tag him. I think that's a contract that they could possibly get done. He's coming off the injury. And then Zeke, Zeke's due a ton of money. Zeke would have been cut last year. He was just owed too much for them to, the backlash of it would have, not been, doable in terms of, the debt on the cap. So I don't think Zeke will return. I think everyone says these things. I want to return. We want to have you back. But it's dollars and cents. It's a business. At the end of the day, we could say, hey, Zeke, you can come back, but this is what we're going to pay you. And then he'll politely say, well, I could probably get, more elsewhere. So I don't think Zeke returns. I think Pollard looks like an easy fit. And he was a dynamic player. And the thing with them tagging him is, we know the running back market. And as great as he looked, can he be a workhorse? And that's the key. And that's one of the things when you look at Zeke Elliott, is he the guy from 3-4 years ago? No, but he's still a powerful man. He works and wears defenses down. And that's one of those 1-2 punches where they're not there. I think Tony Pollard will feel the effects of not having a guy like Zeke around if, the Cowboys can't keep him, even with a reduced salary.
And we sure hope so, but the Tony Pollard injury looked devastating in the playoffs. And I remember Gabe was so upset about it because, so close with him, teammate, and on the verge of generational money with the new contract. And now, and that play is now being looked at for the league to be outlawed. I don't know how you outlaw that play. I'm sorry that Tony Pollard's ankle was at the bottom of the pile like that, but how in the world you can't horse collar? How are you going to get them down from behind?
Yeah, that's a tricky one to police. I don't think they do a good job now of trying to police some of the rules and trying to judge how they make these tackles. We just have to protect their heads. That's the number one rule. And we don't want these guys to be, hurt upstairs. Mm-hmm. We don't want them to be hurt at all.
We want to keep the sport. Yeah. We got to protect the head.
Yeah, we got to protect the head, but nonetheless, it's a violent game. There's going to be, just like when Dak broke his ankle. It was a weird tackle, but it wasn't malicious. It's just bad plays happen to great players, and you just have to rehab and hopefully you just get back to where you were. But they're not. He's not the first. He'll be the last. Go ahead.
I haven't done it many times. I've been on the NFL sidelines a couple times. You're there every week. I know in college when I'm down there late in the game, oh man, it's some ferocity. I can't imagine what you see week in, week out at that sideline level. It is full bore, calamity. I mean, just crash, demolition derby.
I can tell you that anyone that's been able to experience it, they are like horses. You can feel the ground. I'm getting shivers.
You feel their power.
You can feel the ground move as they're coming, and you think you have a second to look down at your notes and look back up. No, you will be on the ground if you don't pay attention. And they could probably make a little YouTube video about me, just the way I kind of I'm like 10 seconds ahead of it. I'm like, they're coming. I'm already running.
I'm scared down there because I'm not near as athletic as you are. and I mean, I am as far, when I'm down on the field, I am way away from the action. If it gets on top of me, it was some bad luck.
Yeah, they're big and they're fast. And
I'm old and I'm slow.
I know. Well, I'm old and slow too. They're the fastest of the fast, the biggest of the big, and it's really special to be down there. It is. It's a blessing.
Well, Bo, we're going to let you go. Thanks for joining us, and
Thank you, Bo.
We'll talk to you again next week.
Y'all be safe up there.
Yes, sir. You do as well. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Bo.
Thank you very much. Bo Marchant with us every week, and where he lives is not far from the very famous, now infamous train derailment. They're a little north of that. They think a little insulated from the direct hit, but his daughter's in school at Slippery Rock, and that is very close to East Palestine, Ohio, where that's just unbelievable to see that plume of smoke from that accident. That's rough.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's just kind of a scary scene. It wasn't the only one. I mean, there's a handful of trains that crashed over the weekend, so it's scary. But especially up there, that seemed to be one of the worst of them.
Yeah, that occurred February 3rd, and now the national phenomenon that it is because of the issues emanating from it. This hour of our show brought to you every day by our title sponsor of this hour, and that's DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road, and online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area, where all the cars are thoroughly examined, test-driven, checked out bumper to bumper, head-to-toe, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. If it's not on the lot, they'll go find that special car for you. You'll be treated like family. And at DeSoto Auto Sales, they care about your time and want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. They know we live in a world today where time matters, and that's why they have it so streamlined, so efficient, really, really so simple. Find the car you want, test drive that car, credit approved, paperwork completed. You're out of there in 45 minutes or less. It's a guarantee at 5704 Goodman Road at DeSoto Auto Sales, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
Let's get to a break, and when we come back, we'll get to what's trending.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app, or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
It may be cold, but the Gossett Mitsubishi Spring Sales Event will heat you up. Discover a new way to ride in your 2023 Mitsubishi Mirage and get 39 MPG combined for $17,520 or $289 a month and zero down. And check out 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport for $29 a month, 29 MPG Highway, or get 2.9 for 36 months. Want peace of mind? We Gossett with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. 2023 Mitsubishi Mirage, $289 per month. 2023 Outlander Sport, $429 per month. You won't go wrong ever when you shop Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com. You want it? We Gossett at Gossett Mitsubishi.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
Garage PHW 2846, MSRP 18020, Sport PU 2230, MSRP 29545, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/2023. Dealer stock only.
Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing is now currently hiring all positions. If you're ready to take your career to the next level, please apply today. Choate's is offering huge sign-on bonuses to seasoned technicians, plumbers, installers, and air duct cleaners. At Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing, we offer a career, not just a job, by putting you in a paid training program to develop your technical and customer service skills to best serve our customers. Choate's offers top pay in the Mid-South, weekly pay, paid vacation and holidays, company matching retirement account, health, dental, vision, and life insurance, and Christmas, Thanksgiving, and birthday bonuses. If this sounds like an exciting opportunity for you, then we should talk. So call us at 347-8086 or apply online at choateshvac.com under the careers link. Come, join our family.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything. A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
Hey Memphis, this is Johnny B with the Memphis Music Room. Consider Memphis Music Room for your next event. Our venue has a total of 4,000 square feet in the dining area with a full commercial kitchen and a bar serving a variety of liquor, wine, and beer. Our main hall has 8,000 square feet and a seating capacity of 1,000 and a full festival-sized stage with a permanent back line and lighting. We'd love to plan your next event, from an anniversary to a birthday party to a wedding celebration. Call us today at 808-5000 or visit us at memphismusicroom.com and come celebrate with us. Hey Memphis, this is Johnny B with the Memphis Music Room. Consider Memphis Music Room for your next event. Our venue has a total of 4,000 square feet in the dining area with a full commercial kitchen and a bar serving a variety of liquor, wine, and beer. Our main hall has 8,000 square feet and a seating capacity of 1,000 and a full festival-sized stage with a permanent back line and lighting. We'd love to plan your next event, from an anniversary to a birthday party to a wedding celebration. Call us today at 808-5000 or visit us at memphismusicroom.com and come celebrate with us.
It's here, Mid-South, the last call. Special editions honoring the end of an era with Dodge Challenger and Dodge Charger and the last of the legendary Hemi engines that power them. Up to 808 horsepower and heritage colors. P5 Blue, Plum Crazy Purple, and Sublime Green. And Gossett's got them more than anyone in 300 miles. So come by and take a look at these bad boys. Plus, celebrate the President's Day sales event with 2022 Jeep Renegade Latitude 4x4, $398 a month. Or get 2022 Dodge Charger SXT, $449 a month. Savings everywhere at Gossett, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Fiat. But if you can't find exactly what you want, let Gossett order it today. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett on the Pike, or shop online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
3,500 cash down, 75 months at 4.99 APR. Renegade NPN 96688, MSRP 32880. Charger NN 246,270, MSRP 35,630. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/2023. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time, as we've got about 30 minutes left in today's episode. And a little programming note, if you're looking for it, we're going to join in progress the Ole Miss game as they're taking on Arkansas State in baseball. Right now, it looks like they're in the bottom of the fourth inning with a 6-1 lead over the Red Wolves. But kind of as we've gotten done with All-Star Weekend, and now we're getting a lot of news in the NBA before teams kind of start getting back onto the court. The biggest coming down a little less than an hour ago, as it looks like the Hawks have fired Nate McMillan, so now they have an opening at the head coach position.
Who saw that coming? Jay Morgan? I didn't. I'm surprised by it. Right now, the Hawks are in the they would be in the play-in tournament.
I thought it had calmed down a lot. You remember earlier in the year, Trae Young, they told him not to even show up to a game, and he stayed at home, had to answer questions about it. And then he called out the coaching staff for leaking stuff to the media. Man, you don't show up to a game, people are going to ask questions about it. I don't think that's Nate McMillan's fault at all. But that's the nature of the business. I mean, Nate McMillan's a great coach. Don't get me. I mean, is good coach in Indiana too. They parted ways for different reasons, and Rick Carlisle replaced him, who's another great coach in the league. But Nate McMillan, what is he, 20 games over 500 in Atlanta? But that's the nature of the business. The best player, I shouldn't say the best player because I like DeJounte Murray a lot, but the star player on the team butts heads with you. They're not going to fire the star player. They're going to fire the coach, and that's just the way it goes in that case.
They sure aren't. Trae Young selling a lot more tickets every night than Nate McMillan's selling. Is that the last stop for Nate McMillan? I mean, been a good coach, good man, great reputation, age, not that old, but getting up there for this. Is this last stop?
I don't think so because, and I'll reference Dwayne Casey getting the job
Good point.
in Detroit for the Pistons. I think a young team that needs a good basketball coach would be more than willing to hire him. Now, I would love it if the Rockets went a different direction, but I don't think all those players the first 1, 2, 3 years of their career being told you don't have to play any defense. I'm not sure any good coach, any old school coach would do well in that environment. I'm not sure where he could go, but I would reference Dwayne Casey and the Pistons saying that Nate McMillan could coach somewhere. But the Hawks are just a disaster as far as I can see. Firing Mike Budenholzer, that's 2 coaches ago.
Yeah.
Firing Mike Budenholzer.
Been through a lot of coaches.
Yeah, he's been through so many. Firing Mike Budenholzer to go to coach the Bucks and then coach them to a championship, although the Bucks wanted to fire him too. Lloyd Pierce, who was on Lionel's staff, was fired after like 2 or 3 seasons right before Nate McMillan. I mean, at a certain point, you had to have some sort of stability, but clearly the general manager of the Hawks would disagree.
What about this one? At the end of the year, the Pistons move on from Dwayne Casey. How about Nate McMillan there?
I wouldn't mind it. It seems like a lateral move, sort of, but, both
building young team.
Both kind of defensive minded. I like Dwayne Casey a lot. I'm not sure they'd move on.
I do too.
Although losing, I guess sometimes you move on from a coach, but they expected to lose in their building. To your question about where Nate McMillan goes, I really don't have an answer for you, but I could see him coaching somewhere. I just can't tell you where it would be.
Well, it's interesting. You talk about the Pistons. R.J. Hampton was cut by Orlando earlier today, and it looks like he was just picked up by Detroit. Detroit has more first or second year players, first, second, or third year players than anybody in the NBA. I mean, the amount of young talent they have on their team is incredible.
Yeah, and I think building something, not for next year even, though.
No, but I mean, like Jay said, I mean, they're
Could be next year.
Yeah, but
because I thought it was going to be this year, to be quite honest. But they moved on from all the veteranship they had.
Yeah,
Cade Cunningham gets hurt, and they take a huge step back because last year they were so good on defense, and this year they're the worst defensive team in the league. And I think that comes from being so young because they do have a defensive-minded coach. I'm not sure they make the playoffs in a year or even maybe sniff it, but I think they'll be a lot more competitive next year and then maybe 2 years if they can keep that core intact. Maybe they make the playoffs at that point.
Well, and you weren't Detroit. Even when they were like knocked out, no chance of making the playoffs last year, they were still in a bunch of games late in the season. They were a team that
they're not deterred by that.
Well, right, but I'm saying they're with that young talent. They were kind of playing real hard late in the season, and that just seems like they're just kind of getting better and better over last season and this season.
Yeah, I missed big. I whiffed big. I've said that I thought they were going to be way more competitive and be fighting for a play-in spot this year, and I kind of overlooked the fact that they added two rookies to play with these other guys, being Jaden Ivey, who's starting at this point, and Jalen Duren's starting now too, just because they've had a good amount of injuries at this point. And they're playing good basketball, but that just comes with playing rookies, is you're not going to be as good defensively. They're literally ranked last defensively in the NBA, and so you're not going to do a lot of that. But like you said, even when they're eliminated at the end of the year, they're still going to be playing competitive basketball because getting better every day. And Dwayne Casey, credit him, has done a great job of selling these kids on that, almost the polar opposite of the Rockets, in that what we're playing for today has no bearing on the wins and losses for this season. It's building towards something in the future, whereas the Rockets are content to say, man, go get your buckets, and you're going to get paid in your next contract, and that's all we care about here.
Now, that was a tough first job for Stephen Silas, though.
Yeah, was, Jay.
Certainly so. I think it comes from above, though. You know?
Really?
I mean, it has to. It's too. No coach is content with their behavior. Right. And John Wall has even said as much.
He sounded off on it.
About it. he's very upset with what they did, and he had to go back there in this last trade. But I have a feeling that it comes from someone wearing a suit sitting in an office, not necessarily a coaching staff. So in those regards, Brett, yeah, a very tough situation that you really have no control of.
That he might not be calling a lot of the shots. Here's one at the end of the year. Tell me when Philadelphia exits, and if it's very early, Doc may have had enough.
Maybe see that.
You saying with the criticism specifically?
We just for maybe shake it up. Doc, if Philadelphia exited early and ugly, he could exit.
I could see it because of what you said. So much criticism comes his way, warranted or unwarranted. It's just the way it goes.
Because a really good team's going to be left out of the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
One of these three teams won't make it: Boston, Milwaukee, or Philadelphia.
That's how it goes. That's the truth. But are you saying?
I certainly could. I think Doc could be left out. Could leave too because of chemistry issues as well. And everyone has all the reporting being done on the Sixers is that James Harden is. I think Keith Smith said this to us last week that they're a much better chemistry. James Harden getting along with everybody better, embracing his role a lot more. But that's
I think that was Brian Gelsheimer.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. You're right. You're absolutely right. And I've heard other people say that as well. I still personally want to be convinced a little bit more. I'm not a fan of James Harden on this team with all the talent they have, specifically Joel Embiid. But I could see that maybe if things go haywire at the end of the year, maybe they're getting along better. Maybe they're not getting along with James Harden. Daryl Morey ain't getting rid of James Harden.
Right.
Maybe he gets rid of Doc Rivers.
I could see that. That's what I was going to ask you, Brett, if you were meaning more of Doc would leave or if they would cut ties with Doc.
Doc leave, had enough, frustrated, always kind of ends poorly there.
Yeah. I don't know.
Always kind of ends, except for the one time in Boston, always ends poorly anywhere for Doc.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
All those Clippers.
I can't imagine working with Daryl Morey either. I mean, I know that's totally different, but this guy, I just can't stand. I mean, what is he building the Philadelphia Rockets out for the 76ers? Pretty much their entire roster of role players is guys that played for the Rockets when he was the GM of the Rockets too.
Bring the old guys back.
I just can't imagine working with that guy.
There's nobody gets media like him.
Nobody.
Like Daryl Morey.
Nobody at all.
Nobody loves a microphone like Daryl Morey either, Brett. I'll tell you
that's another good point. Yeah.
So true. Now his trophy case is empty, but his press clippings are full.
It's absolute, Brett. It's the best point I think you've ever made, or maybe just the one I'm most emphatic about. Is that guy doesn't win anything, yet gets all these props for he knows how to build a team, does it the right way. Look at what he did with James Harden. They didn't win anything, and in fact, he ruined the franchise being so stubborn, having to get James Harden. Joel Embiid is players that I've seen firsthand sitting close to the action. Joel Embiid might be the best player I've ever seen. Now, obviously, LeBron James and all these other guys, but Joel Embiid is right there with him, one of the most skilled players I've ever seen, and it upsets me to my core. I can't even express how much it upsets me that Daryl Morey is taking the prime of this guy's career, being the GM of the team that he's on, bringing in James Harden and making all these deals, having to work with the Ben Simmons deal and all this other stuff. I think they're ruining the prime of Joel Embiid.
There's only one other GM that comes close to the near universal love affair with the media, the NBA media, the local media. The only thing that gets close to Daryl Morey, that love for Sam Presti.
Oh, yeah.
And Sam Presti is never going to be content. I mean, Sam Presti will be rebuilding. He could have the best team in the world. He would sell them all for draft picks. Nobody loves draft picks more than Sam Presti.
And he always can fall back on rebuilding and small market.
That being said, though, one of my bold predictions a few months ago is that I think the Thunder make the play-in, and I called that the playoffs. So that means I think the Thunder make the playoffs this year.
Well, right now they're number 10, so they're right in the play-in right now.
I think that's the playoffs.
I called the playoffs too, Brett. Absolutely.
It's part of the playoffs.
I called it. The Grizzlies were in the playoffs when they played the Blazers that year and lost.
It's unarguably the postseason.
It's definitely the postseason. So
it's unarguably. I mean, you're playing after the season ended. That means that is the postseason.
Yeah, but to your point too, Sam Presti will never be content with what he has, and the first sign he has to pay one of those guys on that team any money, he's going to sell him to somebody else
for more draft picks.
Everybody mentions Harden, Westbrook, and Durant. Moving on from Serge Ibaka.
Yeah.
When he's one of the best defensive players in the league at that point in time.
I mean, it looked like Oklahoma City was going to be there for a 12-year run.
It did.
Remember when we thought Oklahoma City was a big rival?
Yeah. I remember like it was yesterday, them and the Clippers.
You know what's
and yesterday's a long time ago now.
It really is.
You know what's funny about that situation, too, in that specific market? Is I guess it's because Kevin Durant left under his own volition to go to the Golden State Warriors, but they do not like in Oklahoma City Kevin Durant and all. But Russell Westbrook is their son. He is Mr. Oklahoma City, and I get it. He stayed longer and he's winning triple doubles there.
He's also a way more fiery player, more animated than
when
Kevin Durant.
He didn't leave on his own either. But they don't like James Harden, but he wasn't there very long either. I don't know. That's a little bit of an aside, but I always find that.
But you know who they really love?
Who's that?
Nick Collison.
Oh, Mr. Oklahoma City. Always had his arms scraped up like Jokic. I mean, that guy was perpetually bleeding from his biceps up there, but nobody played harder inside than Nick Collison.
Well, he almost played AFC North football there, didn't he?
Oh, man, that's right. Oh, but they got the big centers. You bring out Perk, and then you got Nick Collison. Oh, man, physical basketball used to be played in Oklahoma City.
Those are the days, OKC days. Now it's all a rebuild. And so many draft picks, but maybe they'll be in the tournament this year or the playoffs. But let's get to a break, and when we come back, it will be time for Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
If you're looking to get a new car, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive. Sure, you love your old car, but you know it's not normal to give instructions on how to open the window. It should be self-explanatory, but it's not. And notice how when you're in other people's cars, you can feel cushion in the seats? That's pretty nice, right? No, it's just normal. So bundle your renter's and car insurance with Progressive and put the savings toward a new car. It's time. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Brian Elder Roofing, 867-0303. You've known the name for 30 years. You might even remember him from nearly 20 years on Kix 106 as half of the Young and Elder Show. Now, 13 years later, Brian Elder is the largest purchaser of Owens Corning shingles in Memphis. Call him right now, 867-0303. Certified and trained by Owens Corning to earn a reputation for quality and expertise matched by no one. Don't let them tell you it has to be replaced when all it needs is a repair. Call right now, 867-0303. He'll climb every inch of your roof. He'll go into your attic and run a moisture and ventilation test using state-of-the-art equipment to make certain you're protected from mold and other contaminants. You may be causing respiratory problems for your family and not even know it. We're waiting for your call, 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text JUDGE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text JUDGE to 321-321. That's JUDGE to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia to Central Park in New York. But many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 a person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You could just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is Geraldo. It is crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye, Joe Haskell.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, what I learned today is that Live, their first tournament is this weekend, and so I guess to get more people involved, or, because this is a team sport now. This isn't an individual sport in the Live. It's a team sport. So on their website, they have a link you can click on to figure out what team is suited best for you. And it gives you this quiz like you'd see on some of those random websites.
Should we take it over the air?
I took it. I already took it, Brett. It's like one of those, you get on those random websites and it'll be like, we'll tell you what Disney character you are. It's exactly like that, where it just asks you a bunch of stupid questions.
Kind of the horoscope of golf.
Exactly. I guess my team is the High Flyers, is what it picked for me. It asked me questions about what I like to do to
Is that really a
big
name?
wins. It's High Flyers. I believe that's Phil
I was in a
Mickelson's.
fantasy football league that had a name of that. I said these names sound like fantasy football league
They are.
names.
I mean, pick a fantasy football league and you'll find at least one Live golf name. But I think that's Phil Mickelson's team. So I guess now I got to be a fan of them. So
and he's a pilot. We got to take this test
We
over
will.
the air with John going when we do golf picks one week.
That's a great idea.
We will do that. I learned today only 2 teams are undefeated in college basketball in conference play. Can you name them? I couldn't have that.
I can't name them now.
Eastern Washington in
I
the
knew
Big
that.
Sky.
I knew that.
And Oral Roberts in the Summit. All right, this.
Didn't know
Has
that.
either Eastern Washington or Oral Roberts ever been to a Final Four?
No.
No and no. You are correct. Tigers and Oral Roberts with a great history back 50 years ago in the early 70s. Oral Roberts had a guy from Chattanooga named Richard Fuquay, and, of course, later David Vaughn Sr. Both have to win their conference tournaments, though, to be in the tournament. No at-large bid for either of those. Oral Roberts could make a Sweet 16, and I think Eastern Washington could win a first-round game as a 14 seed. They won't be a 16, but I don't think they could beat a 2. But they could they could pull a first-round upset as a 14.
Yeah, I think so. In Eastern Washington, they have the nation's longest active winning streak at 17 games, which kind of scares me. Being a team that has to win their tournament, you've won so many games. Something's got to give. You're going to lose at some point.
17's the longest active winning streak.
It was Florida Atlantic at one point, but then they lost.
So just think about
Eastern
that.
Washington.
And UCLA went 88 one time. 88.
That is insane. But now it's 17. So how has time changed? But what I could have done without the just terrible story that we've kind of talked about all day down at Alabama with Brandon Miller's now involvement in the murder that happened down there a couple months ago. It's a sad story all around for the kids, for the woman that lost her life. It's just sad all around, and this is definitely going to be something that probably plays a role in how this team plays down the stretch. I'm sure we'll get more information. We'll get new news on it probably as early as maybe tomorrow. New things will come out from it, but it's definitely something that is sad to see, and I'll be interested to see kind of what happens next.
Brian, I don't mean to step on you're going through the profile of being a Live fan, because we're going to do that, but I almost can do without any Live news.
Yeah.
Phil's new team, the tournaments, the TV deals, Greg Norman, Bubba Watson. But I want everybody, again, as I've said almost consistently, I know consistently through all this, let's lose all the pretentiousness and the piety and the hypocrisy around Live. The tour asked for a lot of this. I know the royal family was the public enemy number one. UBS and all that went with that. We've kind of moved on from that. But again, a lot of people, if offered the cash Liv's throwing around, they would be taking the cash. And now, proven.
Yeah.
This PGA Tour was sitting on cash. You don't come up with all this money for these purses. These sponsors didn't come up with all that.
Nope.
It came out of the main trust account of PGA Tour.
Yeah. Well, I don't even think I can watch Live this year because I don't get the CW. So, I mean.
I forgot about the CW.
That's cutting me out of it.
Everybody
so.
gets the CW. It's
I
a
don't
network.
On DirecTV Stream, you do not get CW.
Let's see what's on the CW right now. I get it
CW.
on DirecTV regular.
Big Bang is on right now, Brett.
No, the Neighborhood's on.
Oh, another good show.
How do you
Cedric the Entertainer?
Why do you know what's on the CW right now?
It's a network.
So why do you know what's on? That doesn't make any sense.
They replace syndicated television.
All right.
It's the same every day.
Okay.
Jay Morgan's a TV
He's
guy,
a TV nerd.
Right.
But what I'm keeping an eye on tonight, a lot of good college basketball, some games getting ready to tip off the two biggest ones. Baylor at Kansas State, Marquette at Creighton, a couple of ranked teams playing. It's a good night of college basketball.
I said it earlier for me. March Madness, it has started for me. 12 top 25 teams going tonight. 4 games with both teams ranked facing off. Tennessee at A&M in about 5 minutes. And then all 3 SEC games tonight are elimination or seeding type games. UT at A&M speaks for itself. State at Mizzou, a good one. And Georgia at Arkansas. Arkansas could play into trouble their last 4 games. Georgia at home, at Bama, at Tennessee, home against Kentucky. Lose tonight and those other games and lose their SEC opener, they're in trouble.
I think you're absolutely right, but that's all we've got for today. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Let's say you need a new car, so you go to a dealer, right? Wrong. You need to go to Mount Moriah Auto Sales. Why? Because why limit yourself to just one kind of car when you can choose from all kinds of cars, SUVs, and trucks? All different years, all different makes, all different models. Really good prices, too. Now, everyone says that about the money, but Mount Moriah Auto Sales proves it. They work hard to get you the deal you want, even financing. Plus, they have a huge full-service department to help you take care of your car. So many choices at Mount Moriah Auto Sales. They're almost unlimited with new vehicles coming in every day. Now, these These are really good cars and trucks and SUVs that you'll want to drive. And yes, low miles too. It's so easy. Just go to Mount Moriah Auto Sales, tell them what you want, but keep your eyes open because you might just find the car of your dreams. Mount Moriah Auto Sales makes it all possible. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner, right on the price, right on Mount Moriah.
When you take your first bite of a steak at 117 Prime, Memphis's premier downtown dining destination, you'll wonder if maybe you were hit by lightning on the way to the restaurant and you were in heaven. It's no exaggeration. A steak at 117 Prime is almost an out-of-body experience. Any cut of steak you crave, prepared by people that live for one thing, making the perfect steak cooked over an open flame to the exact degree of doneness you dream of. There are lots of places you can get a steak in Memphis, but there is only one 117 Prime.
I've always gotten tons of UTIs. Cranberry products never worked for me, and I was desperate for a way to be proactive. I'm Jenna Ryan, CEO and founder of Eucora. We've worked with doctors to develop effective urinary tract health products. Just mix a packet of Eucora with water and drink it when you need support, like right after intimacy. Eucora is helping over 100,000 women stay healthy. Ready to join them? Get 30% off at eucora.com/radio. That's UQORA.com/radio.
Do you want a greener, more weed-free lawn? And if you're like me, you can't stand the sight of dandelions, clover, or especially crabgrass. Hi, I'm Brandon Hawley, president of Lawn Solutions. We are your locally owned and operated weed control and fertilization company. We are also experts in disease and insect control on your lawn and landscape. Our uniformed technicians are full-time, year-round licensed and certified by the state of Tennessee. Lawn Solutions' personalized service is far more superior to that of national companies that promise but simply cannot deliver. We return phone calls, we keep appointments, and we want your business. What we will not do is bother you with endless phone calls or junk mail. Lawn Solutions will not sell you something your lawn doesn't need. If you're looking for a local lawn care company to kill your weeds and feed your grass, then Lawn Solutions is the finest. Call us at 867-5626. That's 867-5626. Or go online at lawnsolutionsinc.net. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for your business.
Both 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte LXS, PE 581,756, MSRP 21,985, Sorrento PG 183,422, MSRP 23,405. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/23 with approved credit. Dealer stock only. Warranties are limited. Powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Jeff, my man, what's going on over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah? Look, I know you got something up your sleeve to blow me away.
You bet I do, Randy. Gas prices are high, but we've got you covered with 41 MPG Highway in your new 2023 Kia Forte LXS at $278 a month, $27.99 due at signing, and a 7-passenger SUV ready to ride in a 2023 Kia Sorrento LX $378 a month, $34.99 due at signing. Both 36-month lease.
Plus peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. And if I don't see exactly what I want,
I'll order it for you, and you won't pay over MSRP. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis.